Good morning, Mami.
Good morning,
Good morning. Mwah!
Good morning, Daddy!
Bunso.
Kain na.
Morning. Dani, kamusta yung yung rite of passage? Bye-bye, Bye-bye. Bye, Mami.
Good morning, and welcome to the 2023 Tertiary Book Launch and Webinar brought to you by Rex Education. Kindly settle down as our program will begin in a few moments. Thank you.
Good morning, Mami.
Good morning,
Good
anak.
morning. Mwah!
Mamaya darating ko sa
Good morning, Daddy!
Bunso.
Kain na.
Morning.
Sabi mo po.
Mamaya darating ko sa
Daddy, kamusta yung yung rite of passage?
Bye,
Bye, Mami.
Thank you very much for joining me today. Oh, this is a copy of Thesis of Science.
Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
In respectful presence of our brothers and sisters across boundaries and faiths, let us all join in prayer and worship and gratitude and for guidance. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and all its joys. We thank you for today, for all its challenges, in all its splendor. We thank you for the gift of one another. O God of infinite mercy and wisdom, only in unity with your will can all our toils have true meaning. Transform us into willing and able stewards of this world and its future. Bring us together to work with understanding and compassion. As we toil and grow weary, we pray for renewed strength and resolve. As we experience pain and sorrow, let us be reminded of untold good beyond. As we see pain and suffering, let us be instruments of your peace and extensions of your loving and healing hands. As we gather here today, Bless us all that our collective knowledge be tempered and guided by your wisdom. Grant us clarity of vision to see the common good amidst all distractions. Endow us with humility and purity of heart to transcend all differences and reservations. When we leave this gathering, let us be the change we seek. As we endeavor to practice what we learn, let us be the good we want to see in others. As we work for our learners and their future, let it be that your will be done. In solemn silence, let us conclude with our own personal prayer.
Good morning, fellow Educampions. Welcome to day one of two of the 2023 Tertiary Book Launch and Webinar with the theme Digital Citizenship, Maximizing Responsible Use of Tech Tools to Level Up Learning. I am your host for today, Robin Ambay, and always excited to join all of you and, of course, Rex Education in building resilience for education. So, everyone, this morning, as our theme says, we are going to zoom in today on technology and how it is something that we all can't live without anymore nowadays. Agree ba kayo doon? 'Di ba? We all can't live without tech. So if you all agree, please comment down sa ating comment box, or you know what? Make a heart react or a thumbs up if you really agree with us that you cannot live without technology these days. You know what? This morning, we have so much to look forward to because we won't just pick up and share knowledge on how we can champion education with the help of tech as digital citizens. Meron din tayong mga exciting prizes na inanda ang Rex para sa ating lahat. Kaya make sure that you all stay tuned all throughout the launch, okay? Also, we will be giving e-certificates to those who will attend day 1 and 2 of our launch. Here is how to get your e-certificates. Step 1. Watch the 2023 book launch and webinar via our official Facebook page and YouTube channel. Step number 2, accomplish the evaluation form after every webinar. Also, to have a chance to be one of today's fortunate winners in the raffle, simply engage with our speakers during the event by asking insightful questions. Don't forget to pay close attention to the presentations and share your queries in the comment box of our Facebook and YouTube live streams. Di ba, everybody? Ang dami ng learnings, ang dami pang blessings this Friday. Iba talaga si Rex Education. Thank you so much, Rex Education. Also, Rex Education would like to acknowledge all of our educampions, all of you watching us from all over the world via our official Facebook page and YouTube channel. As of the moment, we have a lot of viewers joining us on Facebook and YouTube, and let's make it even bigger, everybody. We encourage everyone to share this live stream, and together, let us all learn and have fun. Let's do this, everybody. Today, we will be joined by our roster of esteemed higher education authors who will share with all of us the products of their expertise and hard work that will help all of our college students to level up their learning. We will also hear from some experts in the field of education and technology on how we can discover, rediscover, and explore available technology tools today to future proof and make your learning more engaging. To officially start today's talk, we invited a keynote speaker. He is an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a tech evangelist. He lives the core of societal transformation with the aid of IT solutions, climbing up and appreciating each key position on the corporate ladder and having built several startup companies in the Philippines and take note, overseas then. He has learned the value of breaking the norm in order to make a substantial difference in how the rest of the world perceives technology. With over 20 years of leadership experience in designing innovative business solutions and expertise in next generation technologies, he continues to be a disruptor, aiming to create a bigger impact in each of his ventures. He worked for established and respected tech conglomerates in the country such as Accenture, TELUS, Teradata, Oracle, and NTT Data, where he was both Chief Technology Officer or CTO and Chief Operating Officer or COO. He is the current CEO of TechEdge Solutions. Now, everyone, Educampions, let's all give a warm round of applause to Mr. Cruz.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Robin. I hope you guys are staying safe today, despite the rain and all. Thank you, Rex Education, for inviting me to grace this very momentous book launch event. I am equally thrilled and humbled to be part of this series. And I look forward to the next 20 minutes to create and deliver value to everyone. In this session and the topic, we discover the exploring available technology tools for learning. So I'm going to share my screen and start going through some of these processes. So we have so much to cover today. As an educampion myself, we support Rex's advocacy who works for and speaks publicly in support of education. In my case, on the tech world, we advocate responsible use of technology to drive, better outcomes for society and our learners. And the topic is technology now. So technology has revolutionized, various aspects of our lives, including education. The past couple of years during the pandemics, especially, right? There's a lot of boom in terms of, learning tools and technologies and so much to digest. It's up to us as learners and up to you guys, as educators and learners as well, to be able to, decipher and understand what are the tools that can be used, what can be a distraction for us. So the integration of technology in learning has opened so many avenues for engaging educational experiences for both learners and educators alike. So during this talk, let me highlight some of the remarkable technology tools that are reshaping the landscape of education. So, but first, we need to ask several questions. First is, where is technology helping education? There are multiple fronts in terms of, different facets where education and, tools and people intersect. One is enabling personalized learning. Later, we're going to talk about AI a little bit. I know it's very controversial. We'll talk about it and give you some insights about how to properly use AI. Another one is for collaboration and communication. We've seen increased collaboration and communication over the past couple of years. Enormous amount of tools and technologies that we'll go through. I'll share some examples in a bit so that you would have a better appreciation of all the tools out there. Not all, but some of the tools that are actually widespread that we can use to accelerate our learning in this hybrid, digital and the face-to-face age. Now, access to education and overcoming geographical barriers like now, we're having this Zoom call, right? This live, right? So you might be sitting in your, in your room, maybe lying down or in your classrooms, right? So this is how technology has bridged the gap between, geographical barriers. And we're going to talk about it in a little bit. Now, with every journey as learners, and I myself, as a lifelong learner as well, we need to consider the following steps, right? So where do we start? Well, it starts with really understanding and having a clear learning goals for everyone. You have to define your learning objectives and identify specific skills or knowledge that you want to acquire. That's very important. Before we talk about technology, and we're going to talk about technology as a tool, as an enabler, it's still up to you guys, educators and learner, to have clear goals to help you stay focused and motivated throughout this learning journey. Now, aside from learning and setting goals, you need to be able to assess your learning style. It's very important. Understand your preferred style of learning. Are you more visual, auditory, kinesthetic, right? Or a combination of both? I myself, I read a lot of listen to a lot of audiobooks and love to read as well, right? Online and paper. I'm kind of old fashioned that way. So I have a lot of books, paper books as well, paperback books. So this awareness will help us really choose the most effective digital resources once we start identifying, methods and align and adopt our learning style. Research and recommendations, very important to conduct online research, read reviews, and seek recommendations from educators, peers, and online communities. Look for credible sources like Rex Bookstore that discusses educational technology tools and their effectiveness in supporting learning. So a lot of these includes community as well. So you have to engage with online learning communities. There are a ton of them out there, right? Especially in the Philippines that dedicated to educational technology. And these communities provide a sense of inclusiveness to share experiences, questions. You may receive recommendations from experienced users as well. And Rex builds communities as well. That's why I love working with Rex because they build communities not just for learners and teachers. They build the gap, right? They bridge the gap to be able to, to marry those two together. There are a lot of open educational resources. We call it OERs, right? So you guys have to take advantage of OERs as well. These are fully accessible educational materials available online. Technology is very important. So educational apps is very important. Learning management systems very important. Digital assessments learning. All of these are actually weave into what Rex is all about in terms of education and educampion. And I think we need to take advantage of that as well. Now, most importantly, aside from these tools, you need to be able to seek guidance and educators or mentors in this field. So you have to consult with your teachers, professors, mentors who have experience in educational technology, and they can offer a lot of recommendations and expertise. Now, but really, you have to really embrace, it's a critical step here as we start our journey to embrace and have an open mind. Embrace self-directed learning as well. Take ownership of your learning journey by setting your own pace, exploring topics, interest, question. Ask a lot of questions. Question the author, have a meaningful discussion with your author as well, right? To be able to seek out additional resources beyond the formal courses. Now, that developing a mindset, a growth mindset, as we view our challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. And being updated with technology is very important as well. So you need to keep up to date in terms of these technological advancements and emerging tools relevant to your learning goals. So there are a lot of things that we need to consider in the digital age, right? A lot of technology tools, frameworks. The learning journey is dynamic and evolving. You have to be adaptable. You have to embrace lifelong learning. Even myself, even 23 years out of college, you still learn, right? Because there are a lot of technologies out there, a lot of concepts, a lot of frameworks now. It's not accessible 20 years ago. So, so it's very important to continuously try to explore new opportunities to expand your knowledge and skills to help others as well. Now, as far as technology is concerned, here's the most interesting part. So, a lot of evolution happened in the past 2-3 years, and I'm going to share with you some of them. After understanding the concepts in your role, right, your why, then understand also what are the tools that are available out there. um, you know, the style has evolved over the years, right? And if you can see, the interactive and engaging, learning, personalized learning, AI is very important as well to offer like more intuitive courses, personalized recommendation, enhanced collaborations. We have so much teaching tools right now for students as well. So being accessible, empowered, independent learners is very key, right? But we have all these mentors, we have all these resources and evidence-based learning to help us. Now, if you look at, it's kind of busy deck here, but what I wanted to show you guys are in this different facets or different pillars, right? For gamification or collaboration, there are a lot of tools. Like for example, Rex College, Schoology, right? So it's a LMS platform to provide like a centralized hub for organizing course materials, assignments, and assessments. They enable effective communication, collaboration, and access to consolidated learning resources, right? And a lot of some of the examples are here as well that I personally use. So it's a curation of all the tools that I have learned over the past 2-3 years that I personally use to further myself, in my education, advocacy, and my personal learning advocacy. So these are my personal collection that I'm sharing with you guys. So in the adaptive learning platform, you've seen several like Smart Sparrow and Dreambox. All of these adaptive learning platforms use AI algorithm, and we're going to talk about that in a bit to personalize our learning experiences. And that's very important in this day and age based on student needs. So it actually adapts to, the need of the student, and they adjust content difficulty. For example, they adjust the pacing as well and feedback to optimize learning outcomes. So this is where technology actually helps, our learners. Again, it's different varying space. Iba-iba kasi yung learning pace ng mga estudyante, right? Especially on our side, right? So we have to recognize that and adjust accordingly. Gamification has seen so much, over the past decade, I would say, right? It's not something new, right? So Kahoots, you probably heard Kahoots. Anyone here played Kahoots, right? In your school. So probably in quizzes, right? So these are interactive game elements, right? To accelerate our learning process, it making it more engaging and fun and motivating learners as well, our students, and an effective tool for educators as well. So I use this, all the time to incorporate quizzes, challenges, and sometimes it has leaderboards as well, right? To foster competition. Para may konting konting competition and an active participation during these events, right? So sometimes I use this myself when I'm learning, so to test myself, so I'm more, more engaged with the subject that I'm learning. From a collaborative document editing tools, right? You're quite familiar with all of these, right? So I don't need to elaborate a little bit further, but they promote collaboration and peer feedback, right? Just before we start, our team is working on this deck, this very deck that you're seeing right now. So since it's live, right? I was a little bit panicky because we need to come up with the slide already. I see, our team member updating it. You can see the name, right? Of our team member, our leader, editing some of the slides. So it's more collaborative that way. So it adds to the excitement. It also adds to the tense, but you see it's happening right there. So it's amazing how technology has evolved over the years. And I think you just have to really appreciate and use it. We were talking about this, last week, that technology is neutral, right? Just a little bit of tidbit there. Technology is really neutral. It's whether how you use technology for the good or, or bad, right? So it's by itself, it's neutral. Hotun, I'm not plugging here. I'm not in any way associated with these companies, but I really love Potun, right? So the content creation tool enables students to create, you guys, students, visually appealing presentations, videos, infographic, animation. So I used to do this before. I put in my boring deck, and then it converts into a video that can like wow your audience, wow your learners, right? So it's a very effective tool in terms of providing digital storytelling, and I think that's also one of the one of the skills that we need to enhance, I believe, right? Because every one of us are storytellers, right? So we just have to be passionate about something to tell a story behind it. So creating that skill, foster creativity, communication, and being able to do digital storytelling is very important. And these tools can really help you with that. I'm gonna zero in probably on some of the things that's here as well, right? Like, digital citizenship tools, right? Assessment tools, Rex has a very comprehensive assessment as well, combined with their learning management and digital learnings as well. So like learning language, very important for us to at least learn a new language, right? For us to be more competitive. Learning language right now is far more interactive and gamified than before. So I suggest you guys pick up a skill, pick up a new language, and use technology to be able to acquire and enhance your language skills. Online reference tools is very important. So there are, aside from, of course, Googling, right? So there are a lot of reference tools that we can use. And again, a really good source of information is, Rex Education. We see a lot of content, in seminars and blogs, right? So they're very rich ecosystems that Rex has built over the past 40 years that we can take advantage of, right? So productivity is very important. Productivity tools are very important. Now, I just wanted to zero in here. I'm a personal advocate of this mind mapping, right? So mind mapping tools help students. I wish I learned this when I was in your age, right? When I was still, in college, because it really helped me accelerate, and organize my ideas and connect my ideas more fluidly. So it supports, brainstorming, planning, note taking, enhancing your critical thinking skills, and your conceptual understanding um, is, is something that you can actually leverage, right? You would probably tap some concepts from your, subconscious from your brain that you haven't tapped before by using mind mapping tools. So I'm big advocator of mind mapping. Um, from a STEM and robotics, again, digital assessment feedbacks, are very, very important topic. Um, STEM coding and programming, of course, is close to my heart. So, in the field of robotics, Rex has EduSpec, first EduSpec. I think it's very important that they use this platform called Arduino, right? So it creates a platform. It's more experiential now, I think. We need to build platforms and tools, for using electronic objects, for example, building prototypes that you can actually build yourselves, right? And I think that enhances not only the right side of the brain, us being creative, which we need. The world needs more right, right brain people as well, right, for creativity. So it's very important that we engage, right, all the senses when we're learning, right? So it's not just our eyes, but also, our all the five senses. Very important, right, to enhance the learning experience. At the end of the day, think about technology as a driver, right? It's a tool, right? So it's how you use the tool. Like I mentioned, it's neutral. How you use it will determine your outcome. Very important, to see this as a enabler for you. Now, like I promised, I'll talk about AI a little bit. Now, let's dive into for 2 minutes, the concept of AI and how it has evolved to help personalize learning. Example, adaptive learning platforms that uses artificial intelligence algorithms to adjust yung nabanggit ko kanina about difficulty and pace of learning materials based on student performance. In other countries, they use this, more aggressively, right? They provide intelligent tutoring systems as well. So, for example, chatbots, right? So, if you're familiar with chatbots or virtual tutors, right? So, they can answer student questions, provide explanations, and offer additional resources. But again, you have to validate that, right? So data-driven analytics is a very important factor as well in insights. And these AI-powered analytics platforms can generate visual reports, for example, on student performance, allowing teachers or educators to provide targeted instructions. So these are some of the use cases of AI. But like I said, there are ethical considerations as well, and we have, as humans, have to be responsible for the use of artificial intelligence, especially in this modern day and age, right? So these ethical considerations and responsible use of AI in learning is very important because sometimes, there are concerns about data privacy, algorithmic bias, right? So the importance of transparency and fairness in AI systems is something that's being, of course, being explored at the moment. But you cannot discount the fact that innovations such as machine learning and artificial intelligence really enhance the need for educators to guide students. It encourages. We need to encourage our educators as well to guide our students in terms of using AI tools responsibly, right? So we have to also be critical about evaluating the output of generated from AI systems, right? So the importance of responsible and ethical use of AI tools in education. Rex education is a really good source for verification for learning resources. So we have to, of course, marry the two, technology and, of course, a traditional learning as well. So peer review, very important, right? AI in terms of personalized learning, advanced tutoring, and more um, personalized approach in terms of the syllabus and the pace of learning for our students. Learners, very important. But again, the ethical consideration is there. So that was fast now. So in conclusion, Technology has become an integral part of our modern education. We have to embrace technology. You know, Rex has embraced this and have a different vertical on digital as well. So transforming traditional learning to methods into more interactive, gamified, engaging as we've learned over the past couple of minutes, these experiences enrich the learning experience. So the platforms and the delivery mechanism is just a glimpse of the vast array of experiences of technology available for enhance our learning. So that's very important. So by embracing these tools and technology, our educators and learners can create personalized learning environments. For example, while learners can benefit from improved access, collaboration, and again, emphasize immersive engagement, very important. It's crucial to assess the suitability and effectiveness of each of these tools for specific learning objectives. Again, going back to my first point a while back, that you need to start, right? Why you're learning, what do you want to learn, right? And matching your preferred style of learning and adapt them to technology to enhance our educational experience. So embrace the opportunity provided by technology, be responsible, and use these tools to empower yourself to unlock the full potential of your learning. And with that, I end my short session. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you learned a thing or two from the session.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Chris. Thank you so much for your opening message for all of our viewers this morning. You know what? I agree to everything that you said. Magandang sabi mo kanina, it is up to us what tools to use and what tools not to use because they are distractions. Am I right? 'Di ba? With all of the
Right.
tools that we have online, meron talaga mga distractions and those that will help us. So it is really up to us what to use for our own benefit. Also, very important takeaway from your talk earlier, kailangan nating lahat ng learning awareness. And to achieve learning awareness, number one, everybody, have clear learning goals to help all of you stay focused and motivated. And step two, assess your learning style. Sabi nga ni Sir Chris earlier, are you more visual or auditory? So you really have to assess your learning style. And one more question that he asked earlier was, where is technology helping all of us in terms of education? And you all know what? Today we will answer that with all of the digital learning solutions that Rex Education has for us, like the Schoology, a centralized hub for all of our educampions. We'll talk more about that later. But Sir Rex, you know what? We have a lot of viewers watching us online right now, both on YouTube and on Facebook. And we have a few more questions for you because they were so engaged with your talk this morning. We have one coming from Diane Kennedy. Sir Chris, what is your take on students? Because we talked about AI earlier. What is your take on students using Chat GPT or other apps na AI? Nako,
Mhm.
ang dami niyan.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, dami. It's very controversial topic. I would say
Mm-hmm.
this. Using technology, again, like you mentioned, Robin, right? It's up to
Mm-hmm.
us how we responsibly use technology, right? So because there are ethical considerations like biases, di ba? So dapat i-validate pa din yung result na nakukuha natin say from ChatGPT. Now, there's a fear that people will be replaced by AI.
Oh,
Have you
okay.
heard about that? So,
Yes,
but
yes.
I would say this, um, you know, people using AI will replace people that are not using AI. So, ibig
Oh.
sabihin, as learners, we need to use this as a tool, but be responsible as well, right? It
Mm-hmm.
definitely enhances, say for example, you wanted an essay about something, right? So you just
Uh-huh.
type it in ChatGPT and you'll get that results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, nothing ethics, right? Our own logic as well, and like our experiences, right? Like I mentioned about being storytellers. So a good way is to really document and understand, our experiences, document it, and that will be a source of archive for us. So I'm not against people using it, but use it, intelligently. Use it to your advantage, and be careful in using it. So,
You know what, Sir Chris, you were talking about how to use AI more responsibly. We have one follow-up question. This is from Nico Compa. Can you cite an example on how we can be a responsible user of AI? Paano ba
mhm.
maging intelligent user ng AI? How can we use it to our own advantage?
Well, education. It's very important, right? So validation in anything that we do, right? And then as a result of the information that was passed to us by these AI tools, there are various ways, right? Various tools that we use. You have to always validate. You have to trust, but validate as well. So do research, read books. Still the good source of information. These authors that we have lined up today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tap into their experience. Kasi if you buy a book from our authors, you're gaining wisdom from them as well, right? Not no amount of AI can actually amount to a person writing a book and extracting all these experiences and learning, right? So again, validate. So that's very important.
There you have it, everybody. Thank you so much, Sir Chris, for sharing with us your thoughts on digital education. Maraming salamat. Before we let you go, Sir Chris, please let us show our appreciation by giving you this e-certificate. There you go. Certificate of Appreciation is hereby awarded to Mr. Cruz for sharing his expertise in the topic discovering and exploring available technology tools for learning during the 2023 book launch and webinar entitled Digital Citizenship: Maximizing Responsible Use of Tech Tools to Level Up Learning, given this July 14, 2023, signed by Rex Education Chief Marketing Officer Ms. John Marie Tordesillas and Rex Education CEO, Mr. Don Timothy Buhain. There you have it. Maraming salamat, Sir Chris. Sir Cruz, final message for everybody watching us this morning.
Stay tuned for more information here during this series, and I'm grateful everyone again. Thank you, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Sir Chris. Sir Cruz. A round of applause for Sir Chris. Sir Cruz, everybody. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you, Sir Chris Cruz, for sharing your insights on how we can level up learning through all of these digital applications, software, and tools. I'm sure all of you, our audiences, got a lot of takeaways too, hindi ba? You know what? Here at Rex Education, your voice and your opinions, they all matter to us. You can share your thoughts and learnings by posting in the comment section all of your messages for our speakers and for everybody. Now, some of you may be unaware of how Rex Education is dedicated to providing relevant learning solutions in today's educational landscape. In addition to high quality textbooks and modules, we offer digital learning solutions then. For instance, Schoology is a cloud based comprehensive learning management system empowering educators to create engaging content, design lessons, and assess student understanding in hybrid learning environments. Rex Education also provides the JA Entrepreneurial Skills Pass, a CHED accredited alternative for college students on the job training, offering entrepreneurship training and internationally recognized credentials in collaboration with Junior Achievement or JA Europe and endorsed by the European Commission. Furthermore, to enhance employability of college graduates in the Philippines, Rex also offers the Harrison Assessments, a cutting edge web based diagnostic solution with a proven track record of predicting job success with up to 90% accuracy. Now, this product provides career guidance to college students and assists educational institutions in offering career guidance to your future graduates. On top of the cutting edge digital learning solutions, Rex Education also provides comprehensive after sales support for all of these learning solutions. If you are interested in learning more about these solutions, please email us at cicsupport@rex.com.ph or contact the materials advisor in your area to schedule a presentation with Rex Education. There you have it, everyone. You know what? As Miss Sir Christopher said earlier, learning never stops talaga in this lifetime. Kaya naman, we continue on with learning today as we meet our most esteemed higher education authors and hear what they have for us today to share with us his learning solutions offering. Let us all welcome our first author this morning. He is an experienced assistant professor with a demonstrated history of working in higher education at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños. Right now, he's taking his PhD in clinical psychology at the UP Diliman. He is skilled in community organizing, teaching community psychology, and conducts social psychological research. Right now, Edu Campions, one of the authors of a course module for National Service Training Program 1, or NSTP1. Let's all welcome Sir Rafael Ferrer.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Miss Robin, and thank
Hi,
you
good
to Rex.
morning.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
morning, Sir
thank you to Rex.
Rafael. How are you doing,
Yeah,
sir?
good morning.
Kumusta?
Uh, right now, I'm doing okay because I recently just had my breakfast.
We all have to have our breakfast. It all starts our days. Sir, you know what? We have heard Sir Chris's keynote message earlier. Do you agree with what he said earlier? How can we maximize the tech and digital resources to level up learning for our digital citizens?
Yeah, I thought it was a very compelling presentation. No? I especially resonate when he said that overcoming geographical boundaries
Mm-hmm.
can technology can be used to do that. No, I would also add that technology can be used to overcome psychological and maybe relational boundaries. So maybe we could use it to be closer to our friends, be closer to our professors, be closer to our fellow students. No? So I think it's technology is a very important topic. It's very important to talk about it and learn about it.
Grabe. So we are using technology to really foster and kumbaga build relationships with other people din. Tama po ba?
Yes, especially because even before the pandemic, I was already teaching in the Open University. So I had students from Saudi Arabia, students from Mindanao, students from Visayas, and we would all meet and share our experiences. So even though we are far away from each other, we have very similar experiences as social psychology, social workers. So we learn about each other's culture, and we felt that we were closer to each other even though we have never met each other physically.
That is the beauty of technology. You know what, sir? Let's go back to your book. What distinctive viewpoints or methods have you integrated into the content of this NSTP1 textbook or module, and what prompted you to create it?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. And I would also like to thank Rex Education for featuring our book and for inviting me. I would like to mention my co-authors, Attorney Eric Peralta and Professor Ian Giwa and Professor Eugene Curudo. So there were four of us, and we were very excited and inspired to share the unique perspective that have shaped the NSTP module that we wrote. No? So when we embarked on this endeavor, our primary motivation was to provide the students with a comprehensive and engaging resource that would enhance their understanding of NSTP. Because I've been teaching NSTP for more than 10 years already, and there is no module or textbook that would help the students, and not only the students but also the teachers, to navigate this very wonderful course. No? So one of the key inspirations was for us to bridge the practical application and the theoretical knowledge that we have in the classroom. No? So I think I believe that NSTP should not be limited to mere academic exercise, but should also encourage the students to immerse in the real world experiences, explore social issues, and contribute meaningfully to the community. So parang mas marami tayong natututunan sa labas ng apat na sulok ng ating silid-aralan. No? So to achieve that, we have parang uh, added some interactive activities, experiential learning in the textbook. So mayroong mga case studies, simulations of fieldwork, community engagement, where students are encouraged to step beyond the confines of the traditional classroom.
You know what, sir? I think this is a really big help for all of the students, especially the professors. Because when I was back in college, wala talagang libro about NSTP, tama po ba? So there was really no guide at all for the professor and of course the students. Ano ba talaga ginagawa sa NSTP? Ano bang benefit that we are getting from it? So we are so glad that finally there is a book available for NSTP right now. And speaking of NSTP, sir, the National Service Training Program seeks to increase Filipino students' civic awareness and readiness for defense. what particular themes or activities can your readers anticipate discovering in your textbook's pages, and how does it help to accomplish all of these goals?
Yeah, so the main idea of NSTP and also yung NSTP law, yung RA 9163, was to really inculcate civic consciousness and civic engagement um to our students, to our youth, no. So parang sabi nga nung dating presidente ng US na si John F. Kennedy, parang ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So parang the textbook is really trying to answer, paano ba tayo makakapagbigay sa ating bansa, no? So to achieve that, we have different topics like, for example, civic consciousness, so understanding the concept of citizenship, responsibilities, exploring the importance of social justice, human rights. Then we also have defense preparedness, so yung fundamentals of national security in the Filipino context, familiarizing the roles and responsibilities of being a citizen, no? We also have para mga practical approaches, so yung mga tools like logical framework, objective setting, problem tree analysis. And ang isa sa mga in-incorporate namin aside from the serving the community was also personal development. So we have included chapters that would explore yung personal growth, leadership development, and ethical decision making. Because I think in order for our students to be good leaders, they also have to parang become good servants, parang good servant leaders in the community. So isa yun sa mga topics that is a highlight nung textbook module.
Oh, there you have it. So it's not just all about defense, it's not just all about community service. There's also personal development na kasama sa NSTP na module that we have. Sir Ferrer, as the author, you probably did a lot of research to ensure that your textbook is accurate and complete. What essential insights or discoveries did you make all throughout your study that helped to develop the NSTP's content or better your knowledge of NSTP?
Yeah, so we learned a lot of parang side lessons or parang kumbaga additional benefit when we're doing the book, no. So one, we learned that there's really a lot of social issues, so there's a diverse social issues in the country, no. So andyan yung gender, race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status, no. Meron din sa environment, public health, at iba pa, no. So so the social issues um are complex and prevalent in the country, no. So another thing that we learned was the importance of contextualization. So um paano ba natin magagawa ang NSTP in the Filipino way, parang gano'n, no. So so we had to do parang contextualize it in the local setting, no, each region and community in the Philippines, kasi they possess unique characteristics. So paano i-implement ng mga professors yung NSTP in their own regions or in their own context, no. And of course, yung nabanggit kanina, yung role of technology and digital literacy, no. So especially during the beginning of the pandemic, kahit yung NSTP naging online siya, no. So in-incorporate din namin yun dun sa book, how would you do NSTP in a flexible learning mode, no. So pwede siyang modular, pwede siyang online, pwedeng face-to-face, etc.
So finally, meron na rin po palang online edition, kumbaga, ng NSTP. Sir Ferrer, I have a question. Follow up lang with that, ano kanina. Kasi I'm pretty sure we have students watching us right now na mag-NSTP pa lang. Can you cite one societal issue that you have experienced while you were doing your research for this book?
Yeah, so in our book we added complementary topics that is not stated in the RA 9163 or yung NSTP law, no. So we added gender and development, uh, and we also added volunteerism, no. So parang how would you develop yourself when you try to volunteer to different organizations, no. We also added yung disaster risk reduction management, no. So because parang since the country is a very disaster prone area, no, so makakaranas tayong iba't ibang bagyo every year, no. So yung mga topics na yon, no, we try to um, teach them in a way na mas understandable dun sa ating mga students. May mga activities at saka um, may mga interactive na uh, projects na pwede silang gawin regarding that.
Next question, Sir Ref. NSTP includes several sub-programs. We have Civic Welfare Training Service, or CWTS, and Literacy Training Service. How does your textbook handle each part's unique needs and objectives while ensuring that your readers will have a consistent learning process?
Yeah, so we have divided the book into two sections.
Mhm.
The first section is the component, the common module. These are the lessons or modules that every student takes at the beginning of the semester. So nandyan yung mga very important topics like citizenship, and national defense, etc. No? Um, and then at the second part of the semester, the students are going to choose between LTS and CWTS. No? So second part of the book, we call that the component module part. No? So that part of the book's divided between CWATS and LTS. No? So sa Civic Welfare Training Service, um, it provides parang the foundation for community development, social issues, and the role of volunteers. No? It offers practical guidance on conducting community needs assessment, project planning, etc. No? And sa literacy naman, no, andun yung significance of literacy and education in the Philippines. No? Also yung iba't ibang literacy training approaches, teaching
Mhm.
methodologies, and strategies for promoting literacy among different target groups.
There you have it. Sir, last question regarding the book. As we all know, the field of education is constantly changing po. How does your book consider the changing demands and difficulties faced by NSTP in light of social transformations and technological advancements? How else does it help students develop their ethical ideals, social responsibility, and of course, ang kanilang critical thinking skills?
Yeah, good. It's good that you mentioned about critical thinking skills because
Mhm.
um, the the book is focused on the achieving the competencies that every student needs. No, and part of that is critical thinking. No, so yun nga, nagbabago-bago yung social issues, no? Palaging may bagong problema, palaging may bagong issue sa lipunan, no? But if the student has critical thinking, no, makakasigurado tayo na ah, yung estudyante na yun critical mag-isip at mapapangibabawan niya yung problema na yun, no? So, kaya niya mag-adapt to social changes, no? So, the book gives you tools and competencies to analyze new issues or problems, no? So, it incorporates up-to-date content and reflects about current social, economic, and political landscape in the country, no? Also, yung integration of technological advancement, no? So, yung digital tools, social media, and online platforms on civic engagement. No, also it provides insights on the responsible use of technology, digital citizenship, and potential of technology to amplify the social impact of the CWTS and LTS projects.
All right, sir, final message to all of our viewers this morning before we wrap up your session.
Yes, siguro I would like to yung very first quote na ng textbook na yun na parang um, is about empathy, no? So parang we have to walk parang we have to walk a mile into the shoes of another person, parang gano'n. No? So and if we develop empathy and we develop um, love for our country, then kumbaga we would be able to achieve the society that we ideally strive for.
There you have it, everyone. Thank you very much, Sir Rafael Ferrer, one of the authors of a course module for National Service Training Program, or NSTP1. And the Kumpions, let's give him a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much, Sir Rafael Ferrer. There you have it. Now, this morning, Our next author is a member of the Royal Institute of Educators in Singapore, former dean of the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila, the City University, and the May Kawayan College. She is an established professor in the academe for almost 45 years now. Edu Kampions, let's welcome the author of International Business and Trade, Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano. Hi, good morning. Good morning, ma'am. Hello? I think you are on mute, ma'am.
Good
There you
morning,
go.
anak.
Hi, good morning po. Magandang umaga, Dr. Norma Mariano. Kamusta po kayo ngayong umaga?
Mabuti naman, anak ko. Ikaw ba?
Maayos din po. I'm really excited po to learn more about your book and of course, introduce it then sa ating mga fellow edukampions who are watching us from all over the world right this morning. Now, Dr. Norma, first question. How does your book explain the importance of globalization in the context of international business po?
Ay, nako, anak. Alam mo naman ngayon, di ba? Globalization na. Everybody is already engaged, no? So,
Mhm.
ang aking libro, we have chapter 2 discussing globalization and localization because these foreign companies will have to adapt to the country that they will be entering, right? So,
Mhm.
kailangan maka-adapt sila. So, hindi lang globalization. So, yung libro will also discuss glocalization. So, nasa chapter 2 yun. And then, sa chapter 7 naman, dinidiscuss naman ng aking libro, global entrepreneurship and global intrapreneurship. Ayan. So, alam naman natin, globalization is the process of increasing the integration and interdependence of markets, cultures, and people across the world. The
Mhm.
world of business has been blessed with the boon of globalization that has worked wonders not only for the big players, mind you, pati yung mga maliliit na mga businessmen
Mhm.
who are trying to find their niche. So, globalization matters in international businesses because it increases the size of global market, levels up and balances the competition in the market,
Mhm.
lowers the costs of customer services, allows free movements of goods and services.
Oh.
And of course, di ba, alam naman natin na globalization has made this world into just like one compact, integrated business world.
Oh, tama po kayo dyan. You know what? Since we're talking about globalization, ano-ano po ba yung mga challenges faced by international trade ngayon?
Ay nako, madami yan anak. Ang challenges nila, unang-una, distance. Kasi magkakalayo ang mga countries na yan. Di ba?
Mhm.
Iba-iba silang kontinente. O, diversity. O, people around the world speak different languages, have different cultures, traditions, and so many other differences. So, kailangan marunong mag-adapt yung mga papasok sa international trade. O, difficulty in transportation and communication kasi nga layo-layo naman sila.
Mhm.
O, pero because of technology, di ba, mas maalwal na ngayon yung transportation at saka communication na yan. May internet na nga tayo, so we can communicate even if we are far from one another. Yan. Another challenge is the lack of information about foreign businessmen, how they transact business, and what they are interested in. Yun nga COVID-19 natin na pandemic has caused labor shortages, slumping demand for some goods and rising demand for others naman. Siyempre, apektado nun ang international trade. And additionally, we are experiencing increased conflicts, major economic powers are seizing influence. Siyempre naman, financial sanctions are being used as a weapon, and the internet is, while it is being more of use now, alam mo na, siyempre nagkakaproblema pa rin tayo. O minsan mahina yung ating internet.
Opo.
Di ba? Yun kaya minsan nagiging challenge sa atin. Tapos, ano pa ang challenges ng international trade? Tariffs and trade barriers, currency exchange rate fluctuations, political instability, inadequate infrastructure, ano pa ba?
Pati po
Compliance
pala
with
politics,
regulations and
no?
complexity of cross-border transactions. Di
Aha.
ba? Hindi naman ganun kasimple. Pag ang pinag-usapan natin, domestic business lang, ay nagkakaunuan tayo kaagad at magkakalapit naman tayo. Pag international trade na, mas marami tayong hinaharap na challenges. Di
Nako
ba,
talaga.
anak?
Opo, nako talaga palang dapat hindi lang local ang mga balita na tatanggap natin, even may impact din po
Oo,
pala sa business ang
oo.
international news, tama po ba?
Oo, kaya yun nga minsan yung tinatawag nga natin na minsan, yung mga sellers, mas marami silang impormasyon kesa dun sa
Mhm.
mga buyers, di ba? Yan,
Opo.
sinasabi natin mga asymmetric information, yan, kasama yan sa challenges.
Oh.
Oh,
Ngayon po,
ngayon po,
moving back
moving back
to
to
our
our
book.
book.
How does your
How
book
does your book
explain
explain?
the importance of multicultural marketing in a growing, diverse world natin right
Oo,
now?
yan, di ba sinabi ko nga kanina, diverse na tayo, no?
Opo.
Ano ba ang tawag din eh?
Paano po na-explain ng libro ninyo yung importansya ng multicultural marketing
Oo, meron akong
ngayon?
chapter na merong multicultural marketing eh.
Mhm.
Yung chapter 9 ko, chapter 9 is all about multicultural marketing, highlighting the global trading's changing front and the need for effective marketing translation. Siyempre, kasi nga, sabi natin, iba-iba yung ating mga lengguwahe. Minsan,
Mhm.
alam mo anak, pag tin-translate natin na lang yung byword na ganon, yung pala, iba ibig sabihin sa ibang bansa nun.
Oh.
Nagiging negative ngayon. Imbis na positive yung message na pinapadala mo, gusto mong ipadala, dahil magkaiba tayo ng lingwahe. Pag tin-translate natin, specifically na talagang word by word na ganon,
Opo.
minsan mali pala yung pagkaka-translate. Kaya yung marketing translation na tinatawag natin, anak, importante yon
Oh.
sa multicultural marketing. Ayan. Kaya nakalagay dyan, sa chapter 9 ko, okay, na ang importansya ng kultura, culture in marketing, and what multi-channel marketing is all about. Yang multi-channel marketing importante. So, while the manufacturing function is increasing, focusing on more inclusive advertising, consumers who are increasingly diverse, alam mo naman diversity sa buong mundo, we
Opo.
expect products that will promote diversity rin. Di ba? Kasi generally, you ina-identify mo sarili mo, ano ka ba, Amerikano, Hispanic, Asian, Pacific, Black, di ba?
Opo.
At hindi lang yun. Ang importante sa mga consumers, they are more loyal sa lahat ng brands na nagkukumit to addressing social inequities, importante din.
Ah.
At social responsibility. Ang mga kumpanya na mayroong social responsibility, nagpa-practice, mas gusto nila yung mga kumpanya na yan. Kaya nila, ini-sponsor nila yung mga
Opo.
products ng mga kumpanya na yan. Binibili nila. Di ba?
Nako, napaka-importante po pala talaga na matutunan din yung culture ng iba't
Oo,
ibang bansa. Kasi kailangan
oo,
mong i-direct doon yung
oo,
marketing mo. Tama yung
oo.
sinabi nyo kanina, iba yung
Localization.
pag-receive.
Yun, localization yun, anak. Kailangan mag-a-adapt tayo dun sa kultura nila. Kaya 'di ba tignan mo nga McDo, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Ibang bayan sa India, iba produkto nila, sa Pilipinas, iba produkto nila kasi nag-a-adapt sila, 'di ba? Kasi
They
nga may mga
cater to
bayan
the people
na hindi
noon.
kumakain ng baboy o hindi ko yung mga ganun ba?
Opo,
Kailangan matuto kang mag-adapt dun. Ayun.
there you go. You know what? We have the next question with a growing view of how important entrepreneurship is. How does your book po explain the role of entrepreneurship in international business and trade?
Ayan, nadali mo anak ko. Kasi yung chapter 7
Opo.
ng libro ko. Ayan, chapter 7 of the book
Mhm.
centers on global entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Kasi anak, yung entrepreneurship, hindi sila konektado sa mga kumpanya. Ikaw yun, sarili ka lang. Wala kang amo. Pero, yung mga kumpanya na yan, kailangan nila ng mga tao na ganun ang pag-iisip. So, yung mga taong entrepreneur, na hired ng mga kumpanya, ang tawag sa kanila, intra, kasi nasa loob sila ng kumpanya. Ayan, kaya ang mga kumpanya, mag-hire sila ng mga entrepreneurs, di intrapreneur na lang ang tawag natin doon. Yun, yung chapter 7 ko, pinapaliwanag niya yung kung paano magagamit yung entrepreneurship at intrapreneurship para lumago ang mga negosyo ng mga those engaged in international trade.
Nako,
Ayun.
talagang matututo po sila dyan sa ating
Oo,
chapter 7 of our
yun.
book. Ngayon naman po, dumako naman tayo sa cryptocurrencies. Dr.
Ay,
Norma.
oo nga,
Ako, sikat
usong-uso.
na sikat ang
Sabi nila,
cryptocurrencies
yayaman daw
ngayon.
tayo dyan.
Opo. Dr. Norma, what role do cryptocurrencies ngayon play in international trade?
Ayan, ayan ha. As global trade has become increasingly digitized, cryptocurrencies are emerging as a potential solution to address the challenges faced by businesses and countries engaged in international trade. Ang cryptocurrencies kasi ay gumagamit ng tinatawag nating blockchain technology, which enables secure, transparent, decentralized transactions, eliminating our intermediaries. Wala nang intermediaries kasi direct ang transactions niyan. Ayan. So, hindi sila subject sa exchange rates. 'Di ba? Mahirap ang exchange rates kasi nag-devalue ang pera, 'di ba? Minsan maganon. Ang crypto hindi. Ayan. They offer several advantages over the traditional currencies, including faster and cheaper transactions, increased security, and greater transparency. Ayun nga. As a result, marami na ngayong negosyo at saka individuals are using cryptos, no? As a means of conducting international trade and remittances. Ayan. So, yung cryptos, pumasok na din sa international monetary system natin. In fact, may mga countries, meron silang sariling cryptos. Yung mga central banks nila, may sariling cryptos na. Imaginein mo yun.
So, ginagamit na rin nila ito sa international trade.
Oo.
Nako, ang dami-dami nating kailangang malaman all about international business and trade. Maraming salamat sa inyong libro, Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano. Dr. Norma, before we let you go, final message po para sa ating viewers this morning.
Ayan. Nako, ang aking lang masasabi, ang librong International Business and Trade ay pinapangako kong makakatulong ng malaki, lalong-lalo na sa mga estudyante na kumukuha ng business administration. Ayun.
Yan.
So, good luck sa kanilang lahat.
Yan,
At
for
good
our
luck sa
business
teachers.
administration.
Ang mga
Yes po.
teachers ay matutulungang maigi ng libro na yan.
I am very sure of that. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano. A round of applause, everybody, for Dr. Mariano.
Thank you.
Maraming salamat po.
ng marami. Thank you, Robin, anak.
Thank you po. I'm sure a lot of professors and students will get a lot of insights from the book International Business and Trade by Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano. Thank you again, Dr. Norma. Now, everyone, let's go to our third author. Our third author this morning did not only write one book at this launch, hindi lang isa ha. He wrote 2 books for all of our dear professors and learners. Kaya dun pa lang, tiyak na busog na ang ating mga viewers ngayon. Now, everyone, our next author is a former dean of the Institute of Accounts, Business, and Finance of the Far Eastern University, Manila, where he pioneered and developed its tourism and hospitality management programs. He is a certified public accountant then, and he was part of the international team of consultants who drafted the National Tourism Development Plan of the country from 2011 to 2016. Edu Campions, the author of our first book, Accountancy Research, and our second book, Professional Development and Applied Ethics, Let's all welcome this morning Dean Danny Araneta Cavulay. Good morning.
A pleasant good morning to everyone, especially to our beautiful host. And
Thank
of
you.
course, our wonderful audience, sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga mag-aaral, mga guro, a pleasant, well, a little bit overcast Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday. It's raining, but still, thank God it's Friday, Dean Danny.
Yeah, we're grateful always.
You know what, Dean Danny? Let's take a deep dive on your first book, Accountancy Research. Dean Danny, I want to know, I'm sure our viewers also want to know as well, what inspired you to write this textbook, Accountancy Research? Were there any specific experiences or challenges that motivated you po to create this resource material for everyone?
Well, frankly, I'm about to reach my senior citizenship. Okay, so next year, March, I'll be 60 years old. So, well, some people think that I don't look that old yet, but
You don't.
yeah, you know, I've been a CPA. I've been a certified public accountant all my life since age 20. So I've been a CPA for 40 years now. And I realized from being a student during my college days until the present, we lack a lot of good quality Filipino authored accountancy books. Most of the books that I've used in college are merely workbooks. I wanted to see a book that would really help them become better professionals. So not just coming up with drills, accounting drills and exercises, but really teach them good values and how to become a better accountancy professional. So something that they can use when they enter the workplace. So I wrote Accountancy Research in early 2022, and it was released also in late that year to provide aspiring CPAs and practitioners an easy-to-follow guide in conducting research. Take note, research or accountancy research specifically is a fundamental competency in our profession. Whether you are a CPA or a non-CPA, as long as you're practicing accountancy, you need to research. You cannot make a plan, you cannot make a decision, you cannot develop anything if you do not research, because everything we do is based on facts and evidences. So you need to investigate, you need to search, no? There are no available local textbooks for this specific course. So many of the schools, the teachers, the professors are kind of confused. How do we teach accountancy research? In fact, there are two books I've written, Accounting Research Methods and Accountancy Research. People are asking, that is in the TechEdge curriculum. People are wondering, what is the difference between accounting research methods and accountancy research? The earlier book that I wrote, same year, Accounting Research Methods, that is the kind of research used by professionals in the academe. So these are your scholarly accounting researches used for thesis, for dissertation, or something that they use in schools, or how to improve a particular accounting program. Meanwhile, accountancy research is the type of research used by professionals in the industry. So this is what consultants, auditors, tax examiners, etc. This is the kind of research that they use in practice. So in short, pag ikaw ay teacher, you use accounting research methods, no? That's the book that you use. But if you're a practitioner, you use accountancy research. So both are necessary for accounting students because you never know what career track they will pursue later on. Okay, so that inspired me to write this book, Accountancy Research, because many students don't know how to do proper research. Okay?
Napaka-fundamental pa naman yan, Dean Danny, when it comes to accountancy and college in general. You know what? Next question. Who do you believe will benefit the most from using your textbook po? Is it just accountancy students or professionals na rin?
That's a very good question. You know, when you talk about research per se should solve problems. If it's not solving a problem, it's not research. Don't call it research. So same thing when you talk about accountancy research, that is the kind of research that will solve problems related to finance and accounting. So that means this is definitely going to benefit primarily students because if they want to become CPAs or pass the board exam, they will have to learn how to do proper research. In fact, accountancy research is included in the board exam now, no? New subjects like environmental accounting, forensic accounting, virtual auditing, and accountancy research, they are now included in the board exam. It is a salient skill when you want to master management consultancy. Management consultancy is a course, it's a subject in the curriculum of BS accountancy. Secondly, this is going to benefit the professors. It's going to be a guide that they will use, so they would know exactly what to teach, what lessons to incorporate in their semester. So there are many things that they can use in this book that would benefit their teaching methodologies and pedagogies. Thirdly, it will also benefit practitioners, because some practitioners, they may not have undergone accountancy research in their college days, but this book will serve again as a guide for them, because there are many kinds of research, like an audit, a financial audit. You cannot come up with an opinion in a financial audit if you do not research. You have to look for evidences. So you cannot render an opinion, okay? So you cannot produce an audit report if you do not research. Same thing, feasibility studies. You cannot produce a feasibility study if you do not conduct research. Projections, for example. Same thing with a business plan. You cannot produce a business plan without doing research. Merong uso ngayon, no? Yung sustainability report at saka yung integrated report.
Yes.
That is now required by the SEC. All corporations, particularly publicly listed corporations, are required to produce a sustainability report and an integrated financial report submitted to the SEC. That's a requirement by the law or by the regulator. So how do you do that? What is the format? This book will teach you how to do that. It will show you the format. Okay, so no other book has this kind of content, actually, no? So there are many kinds of how to do a master plan, for example, okay? How to do a roadmap, an action plan, for example. If you want to computerize your organization and you want to check out which is the best vendor or supplier, you have to do an action research. And how to do that, this book will teach you how to do that. There are, I think, about 18 types of research formats that are incorporated in this book. So it's really a gold mine of information, and it will be a learning journey for everyone, whether you're a student, a professor, or a practitioner.
So it's an all-in-one guide for everybody. I'm pretty sure this is the only book available, tama po ba, in the market.
That's correct.
May guides and master plans in doing step by step.
Yes, yes.
All these things that we need. Speaking of the book, Dean Danny, what are the key takeaways or skills that your readers can expect to gain from studying your book, Accountancy Research?
Well, if you talk about takeaways, madami yan, no? There are 5 basic takeaways here that the readers can expect to gain from reading this book or studying this book. Number 1, always remember that the primary purpose of any type of research is to solve a problem of a company, a problem of an industry, a profession, society, or even a country or community. The second takeaway, remember that every accountant in all the sectors, because there are 4 sectors, academe, the government, commerce and industry, and public practice, in all these 4 sectors of the profession, all accountants conduct research, no exception. And they conduct research in various forms. Therefore, the research competency must be mastered, okay? There's no excuse for that. The third takeaway, apart from identifying correctly the research problem or objective to be addressed, it is crucial to choose the methodology in gathering data as well as analyzing them. Kasi kung mali ang methodology mo, your research is garbage. Remember, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, so to come up with quality research, the methodology is very important. Like, should I do a 100% sampling or is 10% enough? Yan. Paano yung virtual auditing? Yan. So contactless auditing. And you're going to do a report on that. What kind of sampling will you use? What kind of methodology will you use for virtual auditing, for example? Yan. So meron tayong mga case studies examples in the book. No? Number 4, the research output or report of accountants is vital in planning and decision making. So without research, it will be very difficult to come up with a credible plan or a sound and fair decision. So this is a managerial competence. Hence, it must be reliable and valid. The accounting reports that you produce, the accountancy research that you do must be reliable and valid. And finally, there are diverse formats in writing and presenting research to your target audience or client. So therefore, you have to use the correct format if you are to make an impact to your readers or clients. Okay, those are the 5 major takeaways in this book. Of course, there's more than 5, but those are the 5 most important ones.
Those are the main takeaways from the book Accountancy Research. Dean Danny, we are talking about digital learning these days. In today's learning landscape, how will your textbook complement the existing digital educational learning tools that we have?
Okay, when I was a student
Mhm.
in college, everything was purely manual. You had a textbook, you had a workbook, everything was pen and paper. Nowadays, in the digital landscape that we have with all the apps and social media and internet, I made sure that when I wrote all my books for Rex, I have so many books for Rex, and this is one of them. I made sure that I incorporated digital techniques. Okay, so at the end of each chapter, there are always what you call internet exercises, internet case studies, and that means it's a very good excuse for the young kids, the young teenagers, to go to the internet and tell their mom, nag-internet ako. Baka naglalaro ka lang ng Mobile Legend. No, 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 I'm doing my lessons. Okay, so that's a very good excuse. So make sure that, yes, maybe they'll spend 30 minutes on Mobile Legend and 2 hours on their lessons. Why not? So I made sure that teachers can use numerous exercises that will allow their students to make use of the internet. And there's a lot of apps that they can also use. They can use also software like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint. They can use also chat groups, like they can use Zoom, StreamYard, Viber, Skype, all these apps they can make use. They can be very, very creative. So there are instructions for the teachers on how to make use of those apps also. So they can choose their learning management system. Some schools, they have their own LMS, so they can use the software of their choice. And they can actually use it for actual accountancy research output. So at the end of the course, the teachers are not supposed to give them a pen and paper final exam test. No, because even if there is a test, so what if they get a 100 in the test, a multiple choice test? That doesn't mean they're very good in research already. So to measure learning in this course, accountancy research, the teacher must require the students to produce an accountancy research project. It could be individual or it could be in teams. And then that is going to be the final examination of the students, the presentation and the submission of the research report and the presentation of the research project before a panel of evaluators. That will be their performance-based final exam. So it's exciting, isn't it? No exam, no written test. Students need written tests, but they love team exercises. They love team projects because collaboration is key in the industry. To succeed in the accountancy profession, you must be a good collaborator, a team player. So this book encourages the teachers and the students to do that particular social skill also. So while making use of technology.
Gabi, I really love how you came in prepared with the digital side of this book, Dean Danny. You know what? I'm going to read just one comment from one of our viewers online. This comes from Teresita Ladisla. Sabi ni Teresita Ladisla, anything about research is a welcome reference in education. Thank you so much to Dean Danny Kabulay for your book.
Wow, that's heartwarming. Very good. I like that.
Thank you, Teresita Ladisla. Next question. Dean Danny, final question regarding accountancy research, this book. How would you support the professors in teaching this subject using your textbook in their classes? I think we have a so-called professor's kit. Am I right?
Yes, I am a teacher myself. And when I teach, I always benchmark on the best examples, and the best examples are the books written by American authors or foreign authors. You know, when you buy a foreign book, wow, everything is there. There's a nung araw pa nga, they give you a CD-ROM. Everything is there in the CD-ROM. But nowadays, it's downloadable. So professors who will prescribe the book, who will use the book Accountancy Research by myself, Danny Cabulay, they will be provided by Rex Bookstore a complete professor's kit for free. Can you imagine that? That's for free, huh? If the book is prescribed in the school. So you have to show proof that you are indeed prescribing it, okay? Because some teachers, they're just collecting freebies, diba? So you just have to prescribe. And what is included in the kit? You could get a complimentary copy of the book, PowerPoint slides for all the chapters. There are 8 chapters, so you get 8 PowerPoint slides. So you can use that the entire semester or trimester. You also have an activity or test bank. So instead of a test bank, you have an activity bank. So at the end of each chapter, you will be asking your students to perform some exercises. They will do something towards the completion of their project also. And how do you grade them? There is an included rubric. The rubric is the guide for the teachers on what score to put on the output of the students. Mahirap mag-grade ng mga non-cognitive tests because you have to produce a rubric. It's not easy to do a rubric. So I produced a rubric for all the teachers already. So this is a low-brainer, no? So talagang you just plug and play, okay? And finally, there is also a suggested course syllabus. You know, the curriculum of CHED for BS Accountancy only enumerates the course titles. It does not show you the course description, the outline of each subject. Wala eh. No? So the teachers are helpless. Kawawa sila. So I made sure that for this particular course, there is a suggested course syllabus. This lists down the topics that you will discuss in the entire semester in relation to the book. Just make sure that you're using that book, okay? No other book, okay? Yeah. They may also invite me as an added bonus. They can also invite me to their school seminars, webinars, and conferences. If they have schools, associations, and regional events, I'm available. I'll be happy to serve them. I'll be happy to share with them. It will be my distinct pleasure to share my industry and professional practice with all the stakeholders in the profession.
Oh, there you have it. So very important to all of the professors, the teachers who are watching us right now. That one is available as well. Now, Dean Danny, let's move to a few questions sent in by our viewers online.
Sure.
This one comes from Arnel Perez. Mabuhay po. What are present trends in accounting research po aside from what you had mentioned earlier?
Well,
Accounting
accountancy
trends.
research, when we talk about the academic research, before the APA format used in 2013 had 5 chapters. That's the old format. Unfortunately, many schools in the country are still using the old format, 5 chapters. The new APA format already uses only 4 chapters. That is a new trend. It started in 2017. So if you're using the 2013, you are 10 years behind, okay? So make sure that you get a copy of this book so you get to see the format, the new format for accounting research, no? But for accountancy research, that's for professional, it varies, no? Nagbabago po yung format. Like, now I told you one of the developments is that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, is now requiring all corporations and partnerships to submit, no, aside from their audited financial statements, they have to submit their sustainability reports and their integrated reports. There is a format that is in the book that you can pattern it from. That's a new development also. Okay, and then isa pang uso ngayon, one of the trends now in research, people don't want to call it business planning, because when you do strategic business planning, that is during the normal times. But the pandemic taught us that all the strategic business plans that companies have produced are thrown out of the window, because with the pandemic, that's a business disruptor, things have changed. It's a game changer. So what is new now? Nauso na yung tinatawag na business continuity plans. What do you do? How do you execute, implement your business activities with a pandemic? when people are working from home, it's a contactless business. You don't get in touch with the customer. It's contactless. It's cashless, no? So you pay by e-wallet, etc. No, that kind of thing. So some companies are ready because they have a business continuity plan. Plug and play na sila. For those who do not know what is the format for a business continuity plan, that is included also in the book. Okay, so that's a new trend. So there are so many things that are happening now. Now people don't plan only for 1 year. When you do a 1-year plan, that's a strategic plan for, let's say, 2024. But when you want to plan for 5 years, 10 years down the road, that's what you call a roadmap. You want to create a roadmap for your company. How do you do that? A master plan. If you're a group of companies, you create a master plan. How do you produce a master plan? What's the format for that? That is a kind of research. To produce a master plan, that's a kind of research also. Okay? For your information, I was part of the international team of consultants that developed the tourism master plan during the time of the Pinoy administration, 2010 until 2016. All my companions in that team were all foreigners. I was one of 2 Filipinos who actually developed the master plan for the country. Because I was affiliated with a Spanish company, and it was the Spanish company that won the bidding at the time. So that's it. So that's my experience in research for master planning. No, so that's it. So there's so many developments now.
Yes. Okay. So next one. So we know that this is a manual book, diba po?
Yes.
Adrian Emmanuel Gladstone has a question. Which do you believe is more useful or more advantageous, manual books, the one that we have, or e-books?
Both, because it depends on the school. Some schools, like there are schools I know that would have e-books rather than physical books, because number one, e-books are slightly cheaper, and it's something that they can be read while commuting or while traveling, or when they're doing something else. They can do multitasking with e-books. No, manual books are very bulky and they're a little bit more expensive, and e-books are pro-environment because you don't use paper anymore. Okay, so you save the environment. Paper books, the paperback books, the physical books use paper. So there are advantages, but some people, they want to use physical books because they want to tag them along. They're very traditional. There's some traditional learners, so both are okay. Rex, by the way, can produce both. Okay, Rex produces physical books. Upon request of the school, they can within 1 week, they can convert my books into e-books.
Wow,
so fast. Convert in 1 week's time only. But you have to give advance notice, and you have to kailangan prepaid, kailangan bayad na yung mga libro. Kasi mamaya nagpapagawa ng e-book tapos hindi naman pala bibilin, di ba? So you have to prescribe, and you have to pay up first, okay, upfront. So if it's the whole school using it, then it's going to benefit the entire population of the course, okay? So Rex does both, actually.
Wow.
That's the good news.
That's the beauty of having Rex Education with you. Sobrang bilis ng production even with the e-books. You know what?
Many publishers, they do only one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay. But Rex does both. That's the good news.
Take note of that, everybody. If you want e-books or manual books, the physical ones, Rex has both for you. I think, Dean Danny, it also really depends then sa reader, sa estudyante, if he or she wants something that he or she can hold, or if they want something that they can just hold sa iPad or sa phones. But very important to note that Rex Education can make those physical books into e-books for all of you. Napakabilis at napakadali. Next one. This is also a follow-up question from Adrian Gladstone. We were talking about, with Sir Cruz earlier this morning, we were talking about AI. What is your stand on this now, Dean Danny?
Well, there are a lot of things we can do. You see, with AI, you can actually make a book from AI without writing the old-fashioned way and doing research. Let the AI do the articles for you, the chapters. But I prefer to do the writing myself because I want to inject my own style. Now, same thing when you produce reports, no, like for research, you can do that also through AI. But one thing that will be lacking will be your personal experiences. You can only write something when you inject your personal experiences. So that's going to be very difficult if you want to use AI. AI can be used only to some extent, but that's why when I ask my students to write an essay, I always plug in or incorporate in the question something personal. So it's really going to come from them. It's not going to come from AI. Okay? Because the World Wide Web would not know anything
Your
much about their personal
experience.
experiences or their
That's
feelings,
that's
right?
one tip
So,
for our professors who are watching right now.
kaya hindi ako nagpapa-essay ng generic na um, identify the research problem, write the statement of the problem for your research. Okay, they can do that. Okay, but I incorporate a second question. Write the statement of the problem of your research project and relate it to your own personal motivation. What motivated you to pursue this research? Then now it becomes very personal. I don't think AI can answer that. Yeah?
That you're right about that, Dean Danny. Talagang kailangan ng personal element for you to be sure na it's not from an AI
It's original.
generated essay. Now, Dean Danny,
Yes.
so much talk about accountancy research, your book. Let's move on to your second book because you wrote 2 books. Wow. Next one is Professional Development and Applied Ethics. Dean Danny, we all want to know what inspired you to write this textbook. Were there any specific experiences or challenges that motivated you to create this resource material for everybody?
You know, professional development and applied ethics are two different things. I've been a hotelier. I've been a tourism professional all my life. Since age 20, my very first job was in a resort in Mactan Island in Cebu, one of the most exclusive resorts at the time. And then up to the present, I'm a consultant of many tourism organizations. And one thing that I observed, there has been a significant change in the kind of decorum of workers and employees and even managers. And the attitude, the mindset has changed dramatically over the past 4 decades. Before, customer service excellence was the norm. Nowadays, you have to beg for it. So it really is a problematic issue. So you get a lot of young people with attitude problems and lots of unprofessionalism displayed out there, shown to the tourists, local and foreign tourists. And it really is a bad thing because it's a black spot in the tourism industry of the Philippines. How can you love the Philippines when the kind of service is lacking in quality or excellence? So I wrote Professional Development and Applied Ethics because I noted over the past decades the declining quality of service and the lackluster decorum and attitude of many employees and workers in the tourism and hospitality industry. There was one time I was walking in Ayala Avenue in the Ayala sector. You know, there are a lot of 5-star hotels there. And I noted that there is this bunch of young kids, male and female, meron silang coat like this. No? They have this coat. They took off their coats and then laid their coats on the pavement, doon sa bangketa. Nilatag yung kanilang mga Amerikana sa bangketa para upuan nila. Doon sila tumambay. Siguro wala silang rest area doon sa kanilang hotel. But this school has a tie-up with a 5-star hotel. I will not mention the school, I will not mention the hotel, but they have a tie-up. They have a MOA na lahat ng mga estudyante nila i-absorb ng hotel na ito. Okay, so there's that beautiful MOA. Pero my God, sinaway ko sila. I told the kids, hey, don't do that to your uniform. The uniform is a symbol of your professionalism. Huwag mong upuan ang Amerikana mo. Huwag mong ilagay sa bangketa para lang sa pinan ng puwet mo. Okay? They do not realize how important it is to take good care of your uniform. Very important. So imagine mo, Amerikana, uupuan mo, di ba?
Yes.
That's a no-no during our times. You don't do that. Okay? So no manners, in short, no respect for the uniform. So that's an example of what I'm saying here. Na there's a declining, quality of professionals in the market nowadays. In our current VUCA world, no, vulnerable, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, it is truly challenging to sustain ethical behavior because there are just too many temptations to do the wrong things. I also personally felt the need to write this book as my personal legacy to the young aspiring professionals in this industry that I love so much. Because when I graduated as an accountant and I became a CPA, my very first job was in a resort, in a tourism establishment. All the companies I work for are all in the tourism industry: airline, travel agency, DOT, all of these companies that I serve are all in the tourism industry. Hindi ako lumabas sa industry na yan. So this is the industry that I love very much. And it is a major economic driver. So it's important that we train the young people how to behave correctly because it is a reflection of the country. Okay?
Yes, that's right. And you know what? I think it's really important to really revisit and develop yung such quality na professionalism sa ating mga estudyante. Speaking of this textbook, Dean Danny, how does your textbook differ from other books that we already have in the same field? What are the unique perspectives or content does it offer? Does it set apart sa mga available books in the market right now?
Yeah, surely there are a few competitors with similar titles out there. I've read them all. I've seen them all. I bought them all, actually, just a competitor check. But what sets this book apart from the rest is the rich combination of three things. The theoretical frameworks that I discussed, because everything that we do is based on classical theories and modern theories put into action. And they're discussed along with, number two, research studies. I did research on best practices in every country in the world and incorporated it in the book. Okay, best practices of the best establishments in the tourism industry in the country also. And I use a lot of actual cases. Some of them are Supreme Court cases, okay? And some of them are from my own consultancy. That's the third thing. My wealth of experience, my 40 years of experience in the industry, in all sectors. There are 8 sectors in the industry. Lahat yan naikot ko na. Wala yatang professional dito sa Pilipinas na nakaikot na dun sa 8 sectors na yan. Okay? Wow. So I'm probably one of the very few Filipinos who's gone to travel trade, transportation, airline, hotels, restaurants, event management, academe, media, government. Those
That's
are the
you are the best person.
I've worked and served in all those 8 sectors. So therefore, the wealth of experience that I have incorporated them all in this book because I've seen a lot already. I've experienced a lot already. Therefore, this is like a gem, no? It's a combination of everything that is the product of the 40 years of my experience in the industry. As an author, well, just a little bit of trivia, no? As an author, I've been a multi-awarded educator, researcher, writer. I've been a top-notch consultant of government and private sector companies. I was a former dean of the biggest one of the biggest tourism hospitality schools in the country, and I have been a senior manager of numerous multinational brands like Dusit, Hyatt, Four Seasons, Saudia, Carlson, Radisson, etc. All the wealth of managerial and consultancy experiences I have learned, are poured into this book. Unfortunately, many books are merely based, yung mga competitor books natin, they're merely based on research. Nag-research lang si author, then presto nakapagsulat na. Ako hindi. It is coming from me. It's coming from my experiences, it's coming from my research and theories. So these 3 are a potent combination for a powerful book. Theories, case studies, and research, plus personal experiences. So that means the books that I've written for Rex are certainly abundant in real-world scenarios and lessons. They're not just hypothetical. They're real-world scenarios. Okay?
Real-world experiences. Dean Danny, so with your wealth of experience that you are sharing in your textbook, who do you believe will benefit the most from reading your book?
Well,
Sino po ba ang
this book,
ating target
Professional
for this?
Development and Applied Ethics, I always had three groups in mind who would certainly benefit from it. No, first, the tourism and hospitality management students, and that's a lot in the country. There's about 200,000 of them, 250,000 of them. And also the professors, because the professors, you have to help the professors. And this is going to be a powerful tool for the professors. Sabi nga, you cannot give what you do not have. So let's give the professors the tools, no? So the students will be able to learn from them. And the students are the future professionals of the industry. The third group of people who will benefit would be the HR and training practitioners in the industry. If they get a hold of this book, they could create a lot of training modules out of it based on what are observed to be lacking, okay? And the common problems in the industry are enumerated here. The common problems of tourism workers are enumerated in this book. So that would be a basis, a sufficient training needs analysis basis to develop training modules. So this will now help their managers, supervisors, and staff. Okay, so those are the three groups of people that I believe would benefit most from this book.
One of the groups of people na magbe-benefit from your book, you mentioned we have the students. Tama po
Yes.
ba? So one question, this is coming from Teresa Pangilinan, one of our viewers online. She's asking, how can your books be instruments of character formation, especially for our Filipino youth of today?
Excellent question. Because I think in chapter 1 or chapter 2, there is one whole huge discussion on industry values. What are the most important values that a tourism or hospitality professional should imbibe or practice? So there's a long list of values that you need to practice or possess, like integrity, teamwork. You also have to have professionalism, resilience, courtesy, service excellence, etc. So there's a whole bunch there. In fact, there is a diagnostic test also that will find out if the students actually possess those values. There is a diagnostic test that will help them. So they would get to know which values they're already very strong at and which values they're still lacking that they need to develop within themselves. Okay, so this is going to be an eye-opener because the first two chapters of the book, there are diagnostic tests. No other book has it. Okay, this is the only book that has a diagnostic test.
Yeah, so with that book, you're going to learn all about your strengths na rin and weaknesses,
Correct.
with what to
That's
improve
correct.
on. Wow. So
Correct.
it's not just teaching. It's also letting you be self-aware.
That's correct.
Now, next question, Dindani. What are the key takeaways or skills that your readers can expect from reading your book?
Again, there are several takeaways here. First, the tourism and hospitality professional's career is dynamic and continuously evolving. So don't get stuck in one position. Always remember that as a professional, you are continuously evolving and growing in your career. Don't be a telephone operator for 40 years or don't be a receptionist for 10 years. Don't get stuck. You have to develop yourself, love your career, take care of it, so you continuously learn and evolve and move up the management ladder. That's the first takeaway. This book will teach you how to do that. The second takeaway, to climb the management ladder, which I mentioned earlier, one must persevere, engage in continuing professional development and education. So you attend training courses, seminars, conferences, go into on-the-job training, apprenticeship, secondment, immersion programs, what have you, whatever the industry can offer or whatever your organization can offer, grab it because those are opportunities to grow and be better. Number 3, nowadays, higher premium is placed by recruiters and HR practitioners in the industry on values over competencies. So they're not only looking at, okay, you're very good in public speaking, you're very good in writing, you're very good in numbers, but they will not hire you. Why? because they check your social media. They saw a lot of objectionable things in your social media. The way you portray yourself, the way you speak in social media is deplorable. Nagmumura ka sa social media, nang-aaway ka, you're troublesome. They will not hire you even if you are a magna cum laude graduate. So they will hire based on values over competencies. Okay, take note of that. So kahit napakagaling mo, so that's why some honor graduates, they have difficulty getting a job because they have some problems with their, when they do background checking, particularly in social media. Okay, be careful on what you post. You think before you click. Okay, number 4, every person is trainable. Even the worst employee is trainable. So don't despair. Okay, one can be trained on knowledge and skills easily. But the most challenging to train on is values. As they say, values are not taught, they are caught. So that means the values you learn from childhood are very important. They are carried on to your adult life. So even if you're a teenager now, most students we have now, the senior high school students and the freshmen, the college students, they're teenagers, you have to be starting to develop those values that you probably did not learn in your childhood. But at least the book will teach you what values are essential. Okay? And then number 5, the last takeaway, every professional in this industry, tourism industry, must chart or develop his or her own career path. You don't blame others for your career, your destiny. You have to do it yourself. You have to love yourself, know yourself, create that awareness that this is what I want, this is where I want to be 10 years from now. And you take it step by step, how to get there. That is a journey that you yourself will chart. You will formulate that career path yourself. The HR practitioners, the HR managers and training managers of the different companies will help you and guide you. This book is also going to guide you because there is a step-by-step process on how to develop your career path. Okay?
There you have it. You know what, Din Danny, we have not a question, but one praise for you from our online viewer, Teresita Ladisla. Dean Kabulay is like a living legend that scatters wisdom and experience to share in many fields of learning. Saludo po ako. You have one fan in Teresita Ladisla.
Maraming
Dean
salamat
Kabulay.
po.
Okay,
My pleasure.
moving back to our book. In today's learning landscape, how will your book, Dindani, complement the existing digital educational learning tools that we have?
Okay, just like all the other books that I have written, there are just many exercises at the end of each chapter. Again, I am not a believer of multiple choice tests because so what if the student gets 100 in a multiple choice question? Does it mean he will be successful when he gets a job? That means he will be effective in carrying out his duties as a tourism professional? No. So therefore, the only way to test learning using this book is to make them perform exercises. Okay? So for example, if a student is supposed to develop a tour for a group of tourists, if he's a tour operator, okay, develop an itinerary, a tour itinerary for 5 days. That is the best way. So most of the exercises in this book are actually performance-based. Students individually or in teams are made to do exercises that are similar or will simulate real-world scenarios. So therefore, matututo sila on how to behave, okay? There's a lot of case studies also. The case studies are from real cases, totoong nangyari. Some of them are publicly known, so in the public domain. So I have quoted the real names and the real companies, but in many cases, I have disguised them because they're not publicly known, but I'm fully aware of them. So to protect the innocent and the guilty, I disguise the companies and the names. But these are the real cases that happen in the real world. They will learn from these case studies. So they can brainstorm, they can debate if they want, so they can reflect, they can write reflection essays if they like. So basically, the book will use a lot of opportunities also for the students to use the internet because they can do research. They can Google the URL, no, the links that are provided by the teacher, so they can go to the original article. Usually it could be a law or it could be a news article, a news item that will be the basis of their activity. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity to Google. Okay.
There you go. And speaking of using your textbook for professors, how would you support our professors in teaching your subject in their classes about your textbook?
Well, just like in all my other books with Rex, no,
Mhm.
there's always a professor's kit, and the professor's kit is complete. No, the professor's kit would have a complimentary book, and you would also have PowerPoint slides for all the chapters. There's going to be an activity test bank and rubric on how to score your students. There's also a suggested course syllabus. So you would improve your own course syllabus in school. Okay. Likewise, schools can invite me also for their seminars, webinars, conferences in their schools, associations, regions. Definitely, it's my distinct pleasure to serve all the stakeholders in this industry, especially the academe.
Mhm. All right, there you have it. All right. So, Dean Danny, before we totally wrap up your segment, we have one last question regarding your books. This is coming from Shalom Lumanglas, one of our online viewers. Dean Danny, how do you protect or safeguard your legal rights concerning the copyright laws with regards to all of the books that you have written?
You know, plagiarists and counterfeiters are a fact of life. We just have to be vigilant because we know that they are committing a violation of the law. So whenever we hear things like that, all our books are copyrighted, okay? So that means we are protected there. But when we hear violations, we simply have to file cases. We just have simply apprehend them, okay? Because counterfeiters and plagiarists are killing the publishing industry, actually, sadly. So that's why we have to, we have to do the legal measures when they do that. That's why I myself, when I write books, I don't plagiarize. Okay, I always have to quote properly and cite my sources, and that's the proper way. So if there are counterfeiters out there, we just have to bring them to the fold of the law. Kasi may batas silang binayolate. Okay, so let's encourage everyone to live and let live. Okay, so don't kill the industry. This is the
That,
industry that I love so much, publishing. So
yes.
buhay ang Rex, and Rex is the biggest academic publisher in the country. So it's a
And
leading company. I'm sure
Mhm.
it has its legal team to do what it has to do whenever violations of intellectual property rights are committed.
You know what I love about Rex Education, Dean Danny? It was earlier this year when they spearheaded the anti-plagiarism campaign all throughout the Philippines. So I think this
Very
was
good.
in February. They were the proponents of our anti-plagiarism campaign. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much. Dean Danny, final message to all of your viewers regarding your books.
Okay. Every time I write a book for Rex, the publisher that I love so much, I always think of the teachers and the students. Foremost in my heart is that I wrote not because of the royalties or the sales. Primarily, it is because I know how it is to teach without resources. It's very difficult. So when I put myself into the shoes of the students and the teachers, I empathize with them. That's why I wrote these books that I've written for Rex, because I believe that they would be helping them with all their anxieties in trying to learn more, gain the correct knowledge. No, so I wrote this with all my heart because I love serving my country. And when I do something for the teachers, when I do something for the students, I think I have served my country.
There you have it. Maraming salamat, Dean Danny Kabulay. Everyone, a round of applause for Dean Kabulay. Thank you so much, Dean Danny. There you have it, everyone. I believe you still have other commitments, Dean Danny. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Once again, Dean Danny Kabulay, the author of two books, Accountancy Research and Professional Development and Applied Ethics. There you have it. Let's give a virtual round of applause once again to our first three authors, everyone. We have the authors of NSTP1, Mr. Rafael Ferrer, International Business and Trade by Dr. Norma D. Mariano, and Accountancy Research and Professional Development and Applied Ethics by Dean Danny Kabulay. Thank you very much, sirs and ma'am. Now, our dear viewers, we highly encourage all of you to share your thoughts and comments on this live event. You can express your feelings by reacting using the reaction buttons available and by sharing your comments and takeaways in the comments section below. All right, before we proceed, we would like to remind everyone to stay in the session because at the end of the program, well, we will be having a grand raffle with exciting prizes. To have a chance to be one of today's fortunate winners in the raffle, simply engage with our speakers during the event by asking insightful questions. Just share your queries in the comment box of our Facebook and YouTube live stream. And also, a reminder to get an e certificate, just follow the steps flashed on your screens. There you go. We are just on day one of two of our book launch and webinar. There you guys have it. Let's keep the ball rolling, Educampions. Now, we will be moving on to our next author, the author of Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards. Mr. Villaseran is a certified public accountant, a holder of a master's degree in business administration, and a certified tax technician. He placed among the top 20 passers in the CPA licensure examinations during his batch. And aside from being a book author, he is also a business consultant, a professional lecturer, and a good governance advocate. Our dear Educampions, it's all welcome, Mr. Eugenio Villaseran.
Hello, Robin. Good morning.
Good
I heard,
morning,
right?
Mr. Eugenio. How are you doing?
I'm good today.
All right. So,
Yes.
Mr. Villaseran, we have your book, Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards.
Yes,
How does
this
your book,
one.
there you have it. Yeah, you have it right there.
Yes.
How does your book po differentiate itself from existing textbooks on CFAs?
Okay. So I'll give you a context or a backgrounder on the book itself. The title of the book or the subject, Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards, is a relatively new subject as introduced in the latest CMO of CHED in 2017. So this is something that is new because it's the first time that a theoretical subject is of accounting standards is separated from the other problem solving type of subjects, because we traditionally as accountants we are trained or parang nasanay kami sa problem solving agad. Diba? Yan yung gusto namin mag-solve ng problem. Diba? We like math, we like, the house of things. But the theoretical framework is really the whys, the rationale behind how we do things. So I think this one is new, and for me personally, I as a teacher, I spent many years at FEU within Kabulay, the previous speaker, our distinguished author, as our dean. I spent many years in the basic subjects, the fundamentals. So I'm steeped with that subject, but at the same time, I was given the opportunity to work in an accounting firm, a big four accounting firm here in the Philippines affiliated with worldwide big four, also a big four firm. And I was part of the technical advisory group. So we were involved in a lot of these things like accounting standards, how we apply this to the financial statements of our clients. So given that background of the fundamentals and the framework plus the standards, I think it gives me, modesty aside, an advantage because I know the theories as well as the application. And also, um, the conceptual framework and accounting standards is a bridge that will connect the fundamentals to the higher accounting subjects, like the intermediate subjects and the advanced subjects of accounting. So this subject is something that will give the learners, the students, as well as the teachers, a tool, a deep tool in order to give to give them the necessary tools to understand the rationale behind the house. That's the guiding principle that I had when I was writing this,
Very.
to give rational,
Mm-hmm.
to rationalize and to make the students as well as the teachers as to give them a support and to understand the theories behind our practices.
Very wonderful. Now, Mr. Villaseran, can you provide everyone insights into the organization and coverage of your book's chapters? How have you actually structured the content po to ensure a logical progression of concepts and facilitate a deep
Yes.
understanding of your subject matter?
Thank you for. I think that's a very insightful question. When it comes to the organization of the book,
Mm-hmm.
I followed three guidelines, personal guidelines. Number one is to simplify it, to make it um, visual, and to storify it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number one, to simplify it, to make it user friendly in such a way that um, since accounting standards admittedly are difficult, even to us practitioners, even to us CPAs. I've been in the technical advisory, and we know the difficulty sometimes in applying it. So to make it user friendly to students who are even not working yet,
Mm-hmm.
so I connect it with the simple terms in the fundamentals. So if we say subsequent recognition and measurement, it is simply adjustment in the basics. So that's an example. So that's how we simplify it. And at the same time, we I I put a lot of visuals in the book, images. I'm so glad that I think our keynote speaker, Mr. Preister, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken, he mentioned about mind mapping or
Yes,
mental
mind
maps.
mapping.
Uh, it's good that he mentioned it because as part of my book, at the end of my book, there's a visual chapter summary. So it's an integration of all the ideas, all the concepts in each chapter, and there's also one integrating or one mental maps for the entire book. So I think that's
Oh,
one difference that my book has from those of the other books in the market.
wow. So you've
And then to
really
Storyfy.
simplified. Oh.
Yes, when we say Storyfy,
Mm-hmm.
Robin, if I can ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what would you rather choose? Would you rather read a financial statement or financial statements or watch Netflix? But that's an easy question, right? Diba?
That's a
You'd
tough
rather
question right now. You know what?
It's
We
an
would
easy, actually, it's an easy question, because
uh-huh.
we'd rather watch Netflix. Why? Because
Yes.
people, whether we are professionals or not, whether
Mm-hmm.
what level of education we have, we're hardwired to be attracted to stories.
Yes.
Diba? So my one of the philosophies that guide my book is that uh, I I encourage people to see business as a character
Mm-hmm.
in the story. And that story is what happens to the business within a certain period of time. So this story, or this what we call the plot in the story, these are the transactions in the
Mm-hmm.
business transactions. I identified 6 basic transaction groups or transaction types and aligned all those standards to those 6 to make them simpler, understandable. And I make the business company, or shall we say, technically, we call that the reporting entity, as the main character in a story. Because the financial statements are basically telling a story about the business. Of course, we're all familiar with the term accounting as the language of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would go level up and say that accounting and financial reporting is really the story of the business. So there's a plot, there's transactions, there are relationships being undergone or being built by the business entity with its counterparties, like its investors, its suppliers, its employees, and of course its customers, and so on and so forth. And that's how we view business, and that's how we should view accounting in itself to make it more interesting and
Mm-hmm.
relatable and aligned with our emotional or psychological makeup as people hardwired to be attracted to stories. That's one of the philosophies. So those 3 things, no, to simplify, to visualize, and to storify. That's why if you can see in the table of contents
Uh-huh.
in the book, it was developed in a way that business entity, for example, in financial instruments, it's grouped under one chapter where all the standards about financial instruments are grouped. So it's the business entity as holder or issuer of financial instruments, financial assets and liabilities, and disclosure. That's one chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, similarly, other chapters are designed that way. No? The business entity as as an employer, as a retirement benefit plan, because we have to view accounting and business as one integrated whole. My philosophy also as a teacher and as an accountant is a good accountant knows accounting,
Mm-hmm.
but a great accountant knows business. You have to understand business in order for you to become a great accountant. So
Oh, there you go.
that's it.
You know what? We have one question, Mr. Villasaran, coming from our online viewer, Teresita Ladisla. Does your book include topics about policies and procedures which relate to design, development, review, verification, and validation or approval?
What's the last term?
Validation and approval.
Validation,
Does it
approval.
is it included in your book?
Um, I'm not very sure about, but what I can say is it is aligned with the syllabus as well as the CPA board exam syllabus, as well as all the standards that are available right now or that are enforced right now when it comes to international financial reporting standards, as
Mm-hmm.
well as because when we adopt IFRS here in the Philippines, we call it PFRS,
Mm-hmm.
Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. So it's complete when it comes to the list. There's also a list at the end of the book
Uh-huh.
Um, that is as of 2022. But of course, accounting standards being a dynamic field, there would be updates. So we can include in the professor's kit as being discussed by our other authors, we can include updates with when it comes to updates in standards, in accounting that are relevant to the book, maybe on a per semester basis.
Oh, which takes us to our next question, Mr. Villasaran. How does your textbook address the latest developments and updates in the field of accounting standards? Is it aligned with the current professional standards and regulatory requirements?
Yes. So as I've said, it is updated as to the enforced financial reporting standards available right now. Honestly, ang hindi lang natin nakasama kasi
Mm-hmm.
this year lang, yung binago kasi na yung pangalan na FRSC, that's the Financial Reporting Standards Council. Yun
Mm-hmm.
lang. Kasi ngayon bago na eh. FSRSC. Dinagdagan lang ng sustainability. Hindi na nakasama sa book kasi this year lang yun. Remember that book is printed 2022. But I think as to the question of updating, ayun nga yung nabanggit ko kanina, we can include the a bulletin every pending a what we call this, an updating, yung kapag magkakaroon tayo ng second edition.
Yes.
Pending that, we can put in the PK yung ano natin sa professor kit, yung mga
Professor's kit.
bulletins that will inform the teachers and the schools that have adopted the book about the many or if there are any updates in the standards.
Oh,
Oh,
so nasa professor's kit na natin
yes,
i-update yon pending the next edition.
yes.
All right. Speaking of the book again, what supplementary resources accompany your textbook to support the instructors and enhance student learning? Do you have mga PowerPoint slides, test
Yes,
banks,
opo.
or online learning platforms?
Yes, we have, of course, it's standard in our Rex professor's kit that we have a PowerPoint presentation. So that's 15 chapters of a PowerPoint presentation. Of course, the test bank, which is very helpful to our teachers. Kasi I've been a teacher too eh. So alam ko yung the support needed. No? Yung instead na magpe-prepare ka pa ng PowerPoint, ayan na, di ba? Meron ka ng PowerPoint, meron ka ng test bank, as well as we will add a table of specifications. No, this is for practitioners, educators. Ito yung it is a graph or a tool, a device so that we can have our evaluation and exams balance in terms of the scope and the depth of topics. Yung hindi ka masyadong puro dun sa topic na yon, dapat
Uh-huh.
balance siya as well as the distribution of difficulties. Di ba? Hindi puro easy, hindi naman masyadong difficult, no, based on the difficulty that you are aiming for, based on the learning competencies that you want to elicit from your students.
Oh,
Yes.
all right.
So meron po tayo
Very,
no, test bank and table of specifications.
yes, meron din po pala nun. Next up, so we know that with your book, you have basically storified it. So we all know that accounting is such a very heavy subject, but
Yes,
with your strategy, you storified it and made it an easier read
yes.
for everyone. How does your textbook address the needs of different learners, including those
Mm,
with varying levels of accounting knowledge and learning styles? Is it suitable for both introductory and advanced courses and conceptual frameworks and accounting standards?
I think it's opportune. It's a good thing that the book, CFAS or Conceptual Framework and Accounting Standards, to be introduced or to be taught at the beginning. Um, it's advice or based on the CHED CMO, it should be on the first year. Sometimes it is included in the first semester, but I think it should be more appropriately taught on the second semester at the first year of BSA or accountancy or whatever course, because there are other accounting courses like accounting information systems and management accounting at that level, or pinaka-late na siguro yung second sem first, I mean second year first sem.
Mm.
So having said that, the CPAS is at least introduced at the beginning. Therefore, meron ng theoretical paod or meron na silang theoretical background. The fundamentals of theories are already there. Unlike before, yung theories, parang at the later part na lang ng kami naabutan namin. Pag meron na lang CPA board exam, yung theory of accounts, doon na lang nagkakaroon ng, doon na lang na-emphasize yung theory. Kaya tuloy, ang naging mindset ng mga accountants in my generation is puro how. Kaya at least ito, naging ano pa lang, at the outset of their school days or of their courses, ano na kagad nila? Alam na kagad nila yung whys in support of the hows. I think that's one of the reasons kaya nagkakaroon ng difficulty yung mga estudyante, kaya mataas yung failing rate namin sa CPA board exams. And I think the fact that CPAS is introduced at the outset of the courses could be a good remedy for that problem. Kasi up to now, hanggang 30% pa lang yung pumapasa sa CPALE board exam.
Oh, speaking
But
of,
I think, excuse me, Robin, hindi ko pa nasagot yung tanong no? Yung sabi na, how can the book support the different levels or the different modes of
readers.
learning,
Mm-hmm.
o ng learning? Kasi base sa research ko, most of the learners now, kasi ano tayo MTV generation, Netflix generation, usually visual visual ang orientation di ba? Mas nag-enjoy tayo kapag nakikita natin yung images. Of course, yung audio support hindi pwedeng mawala, kaya audio visual. So, as I've said, full of images, and then there are theoretical frameworks like the input, process, output. So for example, yung mahirap na standards ng IFRS 13, yung fair valuation, I use the input, process, output framework for that. Ano ba input, process, output framework? It's as simple as when we cook, di ba, there are ingredients and when there's a process and there's an output. Ganon din yung ginawa ko dun sa very technical standard sa yun Ano ba yung mga ingredients or mga inputs? The market data, what's the process, the computation, what's the output, the amount that you will put in the journal entries. Yun lang naman kasi yung accounting di ba? How do we build stories for financial statements? It's through the journals. So doon pa rin, babalik pa rin sa basic. Journal, step number 1 or 2 lang yan sa accounting process. So ganun pa rin. Simplify pa rin.
Oh, all right. So
Yes.
speaking of our accounting students, Mr. Eugene, last question. How does your book help all of our students prepare for the very hard, much awaited
Yes.
CPA exam nila?
CPA board exam. O nga as I mentioned, ang nakakalungkot kasi 30%. Ibig sabihin, for every 3 takers, 1 lang ang pumapasa. Minsan pa nga, 20%, so that's 1 out of 5. 25%, 1 out of 4. Imagine the heartbreak ng bata, no? Imagine the time, the money spent. Hindi lang yung pati yung family affected, di ba? Pag bumabagsak sa board exam yung bata. Minsan yung iba nawawalan ng gana, nag-iiba na sila ng field na gusto, di ba? Parang, so with this book, at least may inspire sila kasi maintindihan nila yung rational the fundamentals, the whys. So I read this one review school, maganda yung sinusulat ng isang, I'm not sure if review director siya nung school na yun, ng review school. Sinasabi niya palagi, ganito, pag may problem solving kayo, i-identify ninyo kung ano yung standards diyan. Kasi ang book ko kasi, ang standard kasi, ano lang naman yan objective, recognition, the recognition, and then you have a measurement, presentation, and disclosure. Diyan lang naglalaro yan. Although may minsan dahil sa mga terminologies, nakakalito. Pero kung tatandaan mo lang yon at sabi niya, every time mag-solve ka ng problem, tatandaan mo, di ba, kung ano yung standards or tignan mo kung ano yung standard na ina-apply mo. So those standards and those theories are what the book is all about. So at the outset pa lang, kung maiintindihan ng mga bata yung konsepto na yun at saka yung conceptual framework and accounting standards, I think this is something that will be my contribution. At least, di ba, my humble contribution to the problem. Kasi kung hindi ko naman sa minamaliit yung ibang books, no, kasi may mga nakita rin akong iba na yung iba kasi is repurpose lang ng theory of accounts. Parang reviewer lang, dati sinasabi ko. So pag ganun, hindi natin ma-address yung kakulangan sa kaalaman sa theories ng mga estudyante. Pati yung mga teacher, parang, yun nga, yung sinasabi ni Dean Kabulay na, puro multiple choice lang. Pag nakuha lang, nagtatry lang sila sa multiple choice question, nasasanay lang sila doon. Diba? Let's guide them and teach them to think critically kung bakit yun ang naging answer. Diba?
Yes.
Based on the standards.
Yes, there you are so right about that, Mr. Eugene Villasaran. What an incredible work you've done with the book Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards. I'm pretty sure that will be of a big help to all of our accounting students and those who will take the CPA exam. Good luck to them. Mr.
Thank
Eugenio,
you.
another final message for everyone before we wrap up your segment.
Parang nasabi ko na kanina di ba, yung yung the sadness that I had or I have when there's low percentage of CPA licensure examination
Turnouts.
passers, no. So as teachers and as academic managers, I'm sure maraming nanonood sa atin ngayon, mga academic managers, mga teachers, no. We're not just selling a book na, oy, sana bilhin nyo to, ganun. Siguro, ang final word ko lang, let's make our accounting subjects inspiring, engaging, and interesting. Diba? That's the aims. Those are the aims that I had when I wrote this book, to make accounting more palatable, or shall we say, to remove it from a high tower, di ba? Parang unang tingin pa lang, kahit kami mga CPAs, parang ang tingin namin minsan sa mga standards is parang masyadong masyadong technical. So I think, di ba sabi nila, genius is not to make the simple complicated. It's making the complicated simple. That
And
is,
I think
yes, justice
that's what
should
you did
be
with the
our
book.
philosophy.
That's
Yes.
right. Maraming salamat, Mr. Eugenio Villasaran, author of the
Thank you.
Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards. Thank you so much, Sir Villasaran. A round of applause, everybody.
Robin,
For
can I have
Sir...
last question?
Oh, yes.
You look lovely today.
Oh,
You're so
thank you po.
lovely.
Maraming
Can
salamat.
I be your Batman? Joke
Batman
only.
and
Thank
Robin,
you.
ha? Thank you, Sir
Okay.
Eugene.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There you have it, everyone. Mr. Eugenio Villaseran, author of Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards. Wow, we have a lot of books we are uncovering and discovering this morning. Our next author worked with several companies here and abroad, and he has been teaching French, HRM, and tourism courses in various colleges and universities in Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Our next author is a member of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and the Asociación de Professeurs de France of Philippines APFP as board director. He was president of a club under the Rotary International District 3830 and an organization of business professionals and community leaders. May we call on our next author this morning, everyone. Author of Applied Business Tools and Technologies in Hotel and Restaurant Management, the Campeons. That's all welcome, Mr. Calixto Terence Obong Jr. Hi, good morning, Sir June. Hello? I think you're muted, Sir June. All right, there we go. I think we are going to check in with Sir June in just a bit. But again, Sir June is the author of Applied Business Tools and Technologies in Hotel and Restaurant Management. So far, we have uncovered one, two, three, four books in total this morning. Our fifth book, we're going to know more in just a few moments. Sir June, is Sir June back? Sir June is here. Hi. Hi, Sir June. Can you unmute? Just click the unmute button on your screen. All right.
Are you referring to me, Calixto Obong Jr.? Yes, I am unmuted, but
There you go. All right. While waiting for Sir June, to all of our viewers, I'm encouraging all of you to write your messages, your comments, and reactions in our comments section for a chance to win prizes in a raffle draw happening after our show this morning. And of course, don't forget, if you all want to get your e-certificates, all you got to do is finish our day 1 and day 2 of our book launch and webinar. While we are checking for Sir June right here, I think he's already back. All right. Are we checking in with Sir June right now? Once again, first we had earlier on, let's just go through most of the books that we have uncovered. First author we had this morning was Sir Rafael Ferrer, writing the book A Course Module for NSTP 1. Next, we've also talked to Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano, author of International Business and Trade. And of course, we also had Dean Danny Kabulay writing 2 books for us. That's Professional Development and Applied Ethics, as well as Accountancy Research. That is by Dean Danny Kabulay. And very recently, we were able to get to know better about the conceptual frameworks and accounting standards that is written by Mr. Eugenio Villaseran. I think Sir June is with us already. Sir June? I am seeing Sir June. Hi. Good morning, Sir June. We're so happy to have you with us this morning. Sir June, can you hear us? All right, while waiting for Sir June, we're going to check in with his tech. There you go. I'm hearing Sir June right now. Hello? All right. Before we're gonna get back to Sir June in just a bit, but we are going to read a few comments online. This is coming from Miko Bertulfo. We have Miko commenting, thank you very much, Rex Bookstore. Thank you, Rex Education. Super galing ng mga speakers ninyo. Magagaling ng mga book writers. Wow. You know what, Miko Bertulfo, I cannot agree with you more because all of our speakers this morning, they were very adept to with our topics on their books, their textbooks. And of course, again, we are talking about digital learning right now. Again, as we've mentioned with Dean Danny earlier, we have the manual textbooks, we have the physical textbooks available with Rex Education. If you want the ebooks for your own use, all you have to do is just send in a request to Rex Bookstore, and in as fast as 1 week, they will be able to produce an ebook of those textbooks just for you. This is also coming from another one from Elisha Keja de la Cruz Restubog. The speaker's expertise and engaging delivery kept me captivated all throughout. Thank you so much to our speakers. Maraming salamat din, Elisha, for joining us this morning. This one is from Jesusa Abad. Very interesting and very informative webinar. Thank you so much, Rex Education, for this opportunity. Another one from Jor Gonzalez. I agree with Sir. Some youngsters fail the board for CPAs, shift their careers because of hardships in passing the CPALE. You know what? What I really love about what Sir Eugenio Villaseran did with the book Accounting, A Conceptual Framework in Accounting Standards is that he mentioned earlier that accounting is such a hard subject to deal with.
Yeah, hi,
Accounting
this
is
is
such a hard
Marvin.
subject to
Are
deal
they are
with,
they
but
are they the
with
one
his
calling
book,
me?
what he did was he
Kasi they just
storified
keep on
it
calling Sir
so
June, and
that
I'm
all
not.
of our readers, all of you, can have an easier time to read and grasp all of the learning brought to us by the conceptual frameworks and accounting standards written by Mr. Eugenio Villaseran. There you go. Again, to all of our viewers, thank you so much. All of our educampions, thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is just day one. Of course, we have a lot of raffle prizes ready to be given away later on. All you have to do is very simple. Just stay tuned in up to the very end of our show. And of course, comment down your messages, your questions, your insights for our authors. And you will get a chance to win our grand raffle prizes later on. Up for grabs, I think we have Sodexo, GCs, we also have JBL speakers, and a Logitech mouse coming up just for all of you. We are going to have our raffle prizes today and tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. onwards. So you guys better stay tuned. And of course, if you all want to get, again, your e-certificates, all you have to do is finish and stay tuned to both of our webinars for today and of course tomorrow, day 2 of our 2023 tertiary book launch and webinar. Here we go. Let me just go through one of our comments coming from, again, Jesusa Abad. Very interesting and very informative webinar. Thank you so much, Rex Education, for this opportunity. Wow. What I really love about Rex is that every time we really have and hold these webinars for all of our educampions and for all of you. There you go. We are checking the messages. This one, I think Sir June is already here with us. Sir June, good morning.
Good morning. Are you referring to me, Sir June?
Yes, Sir June, Sir Calixto
Okay.
June Abong.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I have a very. I am in a hotel in Cebu, and
It's okay.
I have a very unstable. Is my how do I sound?
Oh, perfect. You sound perfect right now, sir.
Okay, fire right away.
All right, questions. Quick questions. Are there parts of the book that you wrote based on your actual job experience? Sir Calix, are you still with us?
Are you able to
Okay, let me repeat. Are there parts of the book that you wrote based on your actual job experience?
hear me?
Sir Calix, is Sir Calix still with us? Sir Calix, as he mentioned, is joining us all the way from Cebu. We're just checking the signal. I'm seeing Sir Calix. Sir Calix, hi. Sir Calix, can you hear me?
Me right now? Because I'd
Yes.
like to be rescheduled if I don't have a stable connectivity. It says bandwidth is low.
All right. Are we going? Hello? Okay. So we're going to reschedule
Hold
once
on,
again. All right. I think we're going to have Mr. Calix Obong Jr. for our day
Live on
2
Facebook.
tomorrow. All right. Okay.
Okay, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Sir Calix?
let's proceed because the hotel technician just helped me and I'm able to connect.
All right. That's perfect. All
So
right.
your question is earlier is
I'm going to fire away the questions right now. Are there parts of the book that you wrote based on your actual job experience?
actually, to tell you a story, I did not present myself to Rex to write this book. Rex looked for
Oh.
me.
Oh, wow.
So they needed a co-author that has an actual experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished tourism management from the Asian Institute of Tourism, and then I went to the States at one point in time and worked for bed and breakfast hotels. I actually, at the same time, I took a course because I finished college without learning much of the internet and all the hardware, software that we talk about now. I went to the University of California at Berkeley to learn networking engineering. So related to the question, when I started working, I was doing manual work, doing reservations for bed and breakfast hotels. This was in exactly 1994. At that time, the internet technology was just starting to get in place in the business. So the hotel where I was working for, I said bed and breakfast hotels. These are small, quaint Mediterranean style of hotels near the Golden Gate Bridge in California. They were starting to do from manual reservation into automated reservations. So the accounting system, the reservation system was being optimized from the manual. Like we have literally like a big scrapbook that has all the room numbers and the days of the week. So my scrapbook was like 365 days. It's really a thick scrapbook. And I tried to reproduce that in my book.
Oh.
And so in the book that I wrote, I co-wrote, by the way, with Richard, who is the Dean of Student Affairs, Assistant Vice President at UP, and he's also a professor at the Asian Institute of Tourism. So relating to the question, I am happy to share my experience in the chapters that I wrote. I think the students will appreciate it because from the manual standpoint to the automated standpoint of room reservations, inventory, use of different tools, I think I am able to relate because, being a baby boomer and now I am in the digital age, I'm able to share this experience to HRM students in a very practical manner.
Oh, there you go. So, Sir Calix, we have one more question about the book. Right now, what areas in the book makes you think students will remember or apply when they finally go to the workplace?
I think it's very practical. Uh, because I wrote it from experience, I did not really base it from I cited, of course. I do not claim it to be all on my own. I cited, of course, my resources,
Mm-hmm.
but I think because I'm still very much in the industry and I also teach at the moment. I think the students will appreciate is the fact that I have been there, I've done that, and I'm still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the constant pace or keeping pace with the ever changing characteristic of the internet technology. Like every day there's something new. I finish the book or I write the book during the pandemic, and then, for example, a restaurant like Jollibee started doing their robotic waiters somewhere in
Uh-huh.
BGC. So that's like an innovation. It's like a tool. It's very exciting because I think the book is not finished yet, and I'm ready to write the second edition. Just because changes are constantly coming into to this world of hotel and restaurant.
Oh, speaking of the students who will be reading your book, how will they relate to your book when all they do right now is go to the internet and find out answers all about HRM?
I think what I offer is the students, for example, has to be very discriminating in terms of the way they relate to internet technology.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I try to contribute is to say, when you get into the internet, not everything there is applicable to you, and you have to be able to decipher it or be able to like sift through the data. Uh, uh, for example, when I teach about different tourism or hospitality markets. Markets are your source of revenue. Who are these people? Like they are retired people, they are young
Mm-hmm.
people, they have different interests. And then some of my students would answer me because they're over the internet. We're having a virtual classroom, and then they search for the answer instead of thinking
Mm-hmm.
of what kind of market. Who are your potential customers? They type in their phone, maybe they search for and then what they answer me, sir, it's animal market. and,
Oh.
and there is no such thing as animal market in the hospitality industry. So I said, before you answer your professor, think first. So not everything that the internet feeds you is correct.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put a little bit of thinking to yourself. It's like just like the previous dean was saying, it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
You are fed a certain data. Or for example, give me an example of a hospitality market. Then they say, sir, family market, or sir, 7-Eleven. I said, that's not the market that I'm talking about. We're talking about hospitality market.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, there's plenty of, I mean, from analog tools, for example, like we used to have a calculator, an adding machine, a credit card reader.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're evolving into having robots or automated check-in, you know. So I the exercises are very practical. I
Mm-hmm.
still tell the students to go to the internet, look at this YouTube video, try to listen to it, and then answer the exercise. You don't
Oh.
have to go to the video if you think you know what the answer is.
Yes.
Because I talk about, how do you use Facebook, Instagram, because it's applied business tools.
Speaking of the student exercises that you included in the textbook, what was your approach in making these student exercises?
I actually tried from the chapters that I wrote. I specifically avoided true or false or multiple
Mhm.
choice. I want to give them what they like doing. They like going to, as I said, YouTube or Facebook. So I tried to refer some of my exercises to YouTube or Facebook, or I try to let them research on their own,
Mhm.
like fill up the charts, what you found out over the internet, and then share it with a group of people or group of one or two people. So
Mm.
I'd like to encourage them to interact and not just doing it individually.
Oh, speaking of that, Sir Calixto, does your book support independent learning? Independent meaning with minimal or no supervision at all from their professors or instructors.
Correct, because I was still teaching at the international school, and then we suddenly have to stop because of the pandemic. We were ahead of the quarantine period of March 16. January, February, we already stopped going to the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then many of them started making excuses of I'm not able to come to the virtual meeting because of this and that. So what I did was I tried to devise Google documents where
Mm-hmm.
we can share with each other, and we can interact just by using the internet and not being present virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So they we I can let them do assignments. So that's my approach. This is like a pandemic. It's I may not it may not be constructive to say pandemic, but as you said, independent learning. The students are encouraged to do things on their own, even if they're not in the classroom. We are a country of too many holidays, but I'd like the students to still learn whether they are on a holiday. Suddenly there's a time. I'm not saying you don't. I don't want you to celebrate holidays, but what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying is,
They can
there's
still
suddenly a
use it.
typhoon, or
Mm-hmm.
there's a heavy downpour. It's declared no class. Learn something at home. Open your book. Answer the exercises.
All right. So this book, you specifically wrote it for hotel and restaurant management students, but can this book also be used by students outside of HRM course?
I believe it can because uh, hotel and restaurant management is just a specific business like conglomerate, and there are
Mm-hmm.
other similar businesses too, like they use point of sale, or what you still call cash registers. So
Uh-huh.
there are many other establishments that sell dry goods. They sell fabric or whatever
Uh-huh.
materials, or not necessarily food or hotel service. So I make many suggestions there about there are plenty of before, when you have a business, you have to buy a cash register. But
Yes.
right now you can actually download a software that you can use as your point of sale, to track your sales, do the orders, and it's for free.
Oh,
So
I see.
and then all you do is search the internet.
Yes, yes. Now, Sir Calix, one more question. Can you give us just one main key takeaway of your readers from your book, Applied Business Tools and Technologies in HRM? Just one main takeaway.
One main takeaway. Uh, the big challenge actually is these tools have made hospitality and restaurant easier. But are we willing to sacrifice the human part of customers, of delivering customer service? So it's a challenge in many hotels, for example, in the US. They've eliminated checking in without a human person welcoming you. In the
Uh-huh.
hotel where I am, you can actually, there's a kiosk.
Uh-huh.
There's a kiosk that says automated check-in. So that means you just key in, you or just scan your ID and you're automatically without the human touch. Are we willing to give that up? Or eventually the HRM student, do you want to lose your job? On the other hand, let me give you one practical example.
Mm-hmm.
I came from a trip last night and it was a bumpy ride because I rode on a yacht. So I
Yes.
felt dizzy for about 4 hours coming to Cebu.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the evening, or when I checked in, I said, you better hurry up because I'm not feeling well.
Uh-huh.
And towards the evening, somebody called me and said, sir, are you doing okay? Now, with applied business tools, I am not willing to give that up, that human touch. That phone call last night that said, sir, can we do something for you because we heard you were not feeling well.
Mm.
So if I checked into the machine, I couldn't have told the machine that I wasn't feeling well.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
That's
would have
true.
called me. So applied business tools offer us that it really has become easier to do business. Even doing the students can even do business on their own by just using the tools that I presented in the book. But there
Uh-huh.
is also the customer service aspect. There's a chapter in the book that says delivering customer service. While it makes life easy, are you willing to give up the human touch? That's the main takeaway that I wanted to give out as a challenge to those who are going to use this book, teacher and student included.
Okay, that's right. That's a very, very timely question that we all have to answer at this point
Yeah.
in time. But thank you so much once again, Mr. Calix. Final message for your readers for your book.
I think the final message that I have is, take this with a grain of salt, be open-minded, uh, be flexible,
Mm-hmm.
be discriminating because we are in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can be replaced by robots.
Yes.
I mean, the need to relax or the need to go sightseeing to relieve the stress or to even do many things in hospitality and restaurant. I mean, when you go to a restaurant, it's a totally different atmosphere. We're in the business of making people feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And so the challenge is how do you use these tools to make people better, to make their stay or their experience easier or more memorable that they can take home with them.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Calixto Terence Obong Jr. Round of applause, everyone, for Mr. Calixto joining us all the way from Cebu.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Sir Calix. Stay safe. There you go, everyone. We had Mr. Calixto Terence Obong Jr. for the applied business tools and technologies in hotel and restaurant management. Once again, everyone, Educampions, a round of applause to all of the authors that we met on the second half of our session this morning. We had the authors of Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards, Mr. Eugenio Villaseran, and of course, for Applied Business Tools and Technologies in Hotel and Restaurant Management, Mr. Calixto Terence Obong. Wow, this is just day one of our 2023 tertiary book launch and webinar. And just for this day one, we had 6 books. We have discovered 6 books this morning. First of is coming from Sir Rafael's A Course Module for NSTP1, where he stressed that civic awareness and personal development is very vital in NSTP1. You know what? When I had my NSTP classes when I was back in college, we did not have any guidebook for that course. So you guys, you are so, so lucky at this point to have your very own guidebook for NSTP1 brought to us by Sir Rafael Ferrer. We also had the International Business and Trade book written by Dr. Norma D. Lopez Mariano. And what Dr. Norma stressed earlier was so right. It's not just globalization, but localization. So we can learn more how to adapt when it comes to international business trade. It's not just internationalization, it's also about localization. Thank you very much, Dr. Norma. And up next, we also had Dean Danny Kabulay writing two books for us. First is Accountancy Research, and the second one is a Professional Development and Applied Ethics. For the Accountancy Research, Dean Danny stressed that it's all about integrity, teamwork, and professionalism. And of course, he also offered a lot of guide maps for all of our readers for the Accountancy Research book. Meanwhile, for the second book of Dean Danny, Professional Development and Applied Ethics, he stressed that it's always values over competencies. Ngayon, we are talking about digital citizenship. So again, you've heard it from Dean Danny earlier. Please, to all of us digital citizens, let's all be careful of what we put out in the internet because who knows, your next employer, your future employer, they are all checking your social media right now. So, all of us, again, we go back to being responsible digital citizens. Thank you very much, Dean Danny, for that very timely reminder. And of course, we also had Mr. Eugenio Villaseran writing the book Conceptual Frameworks in Accounting Standards. Now, Mr. Eugenio also stressed that accounting is the story of business. What Mr. Eugenio did with this book is that he made accounting a very accessible subject, a very light subject for everyone by storyfying the whole book. So, in that, we are still going back to what Mr. Krister said earlier, mind mapping. That is what Mr. Eugenio Villaseran did with the book, Conceptual Frameworks and Accounting Standards. He put mind maps in it and storyfied it for all of you, for all of us, for an easier time to read all about accounting. And lastly, we also heard from Mr. Calixto Obong Jr. for his book, Applied Business Tools and Technologies in Hotel and Restaurant Management. And you know what? It's so true because these days we have all of these tools available for all of us. It's the technology, it's the tools that we have that make all of our lives truly easier. But the real question is, while it makes all of our lives easier, would we risk and sacrifice the touch of human service to it? Again, these tools, they make our hospitality and restaurant industry easier. But again, let us also not lose the human touch, the human service. Right now, everyone, wow, there was a long list of authors that we had this morning. Once again, can we all give a big round of applause to six of the books, six of the authors we had from Rex Education. Maraming salamat. There you have it, our Educampions. We hope you all learned a lot from the insights shared by our authors and, of course, our guest speaker this morning. Before we conclude the program, again, I know you've all been waiting for this one. We have an exciting announcement. As mentioned earlier today, we will be conducting a grand raffle immediately after the launch. So stay tuned as we will be revealing the lucky winners at the end of the program. Once again, we would like to thank today's keynote speaker, Mr. Cruz, all of our book authors, and of course, we can never forget all of you, kayong lahat, ang ating Educampions. Our virtual audience, maraming salamat for joining us today and because you stayed with us up until the very end. And aba, syempre, hindi namin nakalimutan ang winners ng ating raffle draw this morning. Now, our winners will be receiving 2,000 pesos sa Dexa vouchers, a JBL portable speaker, and a Logitech Bluetooth mouse or headphones. Right now, while the winners are being drawn, we invite all of you once again to join us again tomorrow for another learning session and discovery happening at 9:30 in the morning on the official Facebook page and YouTube channels of Rex Education. And also, to get your hands on all of the books that were launched earlier, they are now available at Rex bookstores nationwide. You can also reach out to our dedicated education materials advisor in your area or visit the Rex e-store and Rex book store official stores on Lazada Mall and Shopee Mall platforms. All you have to do is simply scan the QR codes displayed on your screens for easy access. Additionally, if you wish to learn more about our digital learning solutions, Schoology, a learning management system, JA Entrepreneurial Skills Pass offering entrepreneurship training and internationally recognized credentials, and of course, Harrison Assessments, a cutting edge web based career guidance assessment tool. Please don't hesitate to email us at rexeducation at cicsupport at rex.com.ph or contact your education materials advisor in your area. And before we announce the names of our lucky winners, we encourage everyone to accomplish the evaluation forms pinned on the comments section. That way, we would be able to identify how we can better give you quality webinars and programs that could help all of you, all of our educampions, in leveling up your learning journey. And right now, your much awaited part of today's program, let's go to announce the winners of our raffle draw. Congratulations to our winners. Let's check them out on the screen. Winner of 2,000 pesos, Sodexo voucher. Congratulations to Shalom Lumanglas. There you go. Of course, congratulations as well to our winner of JBL portable speaker. Congratulations, Adrian Emmanuel Gladstone. Thank you so much. Winner of our Logitech headphones. Congratulations, Ray Discar and Maria Gia Gisihan Belarmino. And last but not the least, congratulations, winning Logitech mouse. Congratulations to Kim Valiente. There you have it, everyone. Our winners of our raffle draw this morning. Please don't forget to send a direct message to the Rex Education Facebook page so we can facilitate in giving you your raffle prizes. Wow. What a very intense morning we had. There we go, everyone. Congratulations again to our esteemed authors who have once again achieved a remarkable milestone. This accomplishment adds another feather to your cap, showcasing your incredible talent and dedication to Philippine education. Our dearest educampions, kayong lahat, maraming salamat for joining us today as we unravel another milestone, not only for our dearest authors and for Rex Education, but also for our dear professors and to you, our dearest learners. We hope that with this program, we have indeed championed education for everybody. We hope to see you all again tomorrow as we launch another set of learning solutions that will truly help the youth in developing their learning resilience. Again, we will see you all tomorrow morning, same time, same channels, 9:30 a.m. This has been your host. I am Robin Nambayan. Together, let us always say yes to learning para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, at para sa bayan. Have a great day, everyone, and stay safe, educampions!